Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Red Sun Gamer, Son of a Podcast, episode 57. Today's date, Sunday, June 16th. And people, we are back. Well, some of us are. I've got Stephen.
Hello.
Hey. I've
How you
got
doing?
Cheesy.
Hey.
And I got D. Charlie.
Hello there.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
Stephen.
Happy and miffed.
Happy
We'll talk about that later.
Okay. Cheesy?
I can't believe what I just saw at E3.
Oh, you still... Okay. You still in a bad spot, huh?
Oh, man. Yeah, we'll get into it, but oh my gosh. I've never seen anything like this.
Did you rage? Did you break anything? Please tell me you did.
No, there wasn't any structural damage or anything.
Fail. D. Charlie, did you break anything?
No, I decided before E3 I was going PC dad. So yeah, it didn't break my heart so much, which is pretty good. Which is kind of interesting, given that I've probably got a fairly large reputation as a massive Xbox fan. But yeah, we'll get into that.
Hey, and yeah, I'm your host, DJ Mizahara.
How are you doing?
How am I
just
doing?
got back from your surgery, well, quite some time.
He's cancer-free.
We're all there. Everybody's probably worried, but we've talked with you since then, but the listeners probably first time to hear you.
Yeah, it's first time to hear me. Yeah,
So you're back.
I'm back. Didn't die.
Yeah, the hype train, it worked for your surgery. We were all on the hype train hoping you'd do well.
Yeah, it didn't go too bad, to be honest. I was in hospital for, 4 weeks? Can't quite remember. When I got out of hospital after some kind of rehabilitation and stuff, learning to walk again and sit up and stuff, which is kind of weird considering it was a pancreas tumor. They took out my pancreas as well as my spleen and gallbladder, and
Just everything connecting to the...
basically the head
pancreas.
and tail of my pancreas had extremely large tumors. They were 5 centimeters on each end, and they had invaded my gallbladder, and basically just invaded it, and they basically just had to cut everything out. And they left me with a tiny piece of pancreas, which on a real strict diet, I can live without taking insulin, so that's good. But after they had removed the pancreas, they dissected it and did a kind of an autopsy on it, basically, and found out that there was actually 8 tumors in it.
Whoa.
And one of those 8 tumors was cancer.
Oh.
You chose wisely.
Well, yeah, they chose wisely.
Well, they chose wisely.
Yeah, so, yeah, they removed it, and they said, yeah, you're pretty lucky, because this was stage 3. I was like,
Wow.
So it's pretty...
This is how the good old Steve Jobs went, too, didn't it?
Yeah, he had something called a Whipple procedure, which was what I was meant to have, but when they opened me up, and they looked inside, and then they saw the size of the tumors, they basically took a meeting like there and then, and decided not to do a Whipple procedure and do something completely different. So yeah.
So they analyzed the situation, responded appropriately, which you want.
The procedure was 9.5 hours. I was out.
Well, I gotta say, picking up the red phone and calling your father-in-law was the scariest thing. And then just like the first thing he said was "Okage-sama de," which is like thanks to you. And then from there, I knew that everything was okay.
Oh, okay.
And then I went right onto the Twitters and posted there. Everyone do their bro fists.
Yeah, no, it was good when
So it was good to hear that everything went well.
When I finally woke up and I was able to look at it, look at Twitter.
Unfortunately, there's tumors on Microsoft as well, though, right?
Oh yeah, there's a hell of a lot of tumors on that.
I don't know if the doctors are as smart as your doctors were.
Well, let's find out then. Let's get into Microsoft's tumor problem, right? I think Cheesy's been the most vocal on this, though, right?
Oh, man.
Oh man,
I don't think he's been sleeping for the past.
Bull in a china shop. It was kind of funny, just watching you go, and it's like you got all of these Twitter hash marks and stuff.
Yeah, jump out.
Jump out, right? Jump out. So you wanna take the floor?
Yeah. So basically, Microsoft had its Xbox reveal event, and then had a bunch of PR statements
before the reveal, they revealed basically the DRM stuff, right?
It had been rumored for a long time, and these rumors just weren't going away at all.
Right, and then they put this information up on like Microsoft.com or Xbox.com, right?
Yeah, after, you had various talking heads from Microsoft's PR, giving, conflicting information and confusing everyone, we finally got official word from Microsoft on their Xbox website. And I will, if it's okay, I'll read a few excerpts from that text.
Do it.
So, while a persistent connection is not required, Xbox One is designed to verify if system, application, or game updates are needed, and to see if you have acquired new games or resold, traded in, or given your game to a friend. Games that are designed to take advantage of the cloud may require connection. With Xbox One, you can game offline for up to 24 hours on your primary console, or 1 hour if you are logged on to a separate console accessing your library. Offline gaming is not possible after these prescribed times until you reestablish a connection. But you can still watch live TV and enjoy Blu-ray and DVD movies.
Oh,
which is why we all bought the Xbox, right?
Right, okay, so Cheesy, let me know what's bothering you, what's pulling your chain.
Yeah, I think the biggest worry I have with all of this always online DRM is that when the servers go down one day, after the generation is over, it may not be possible to play all of the games that you've paid for. And although Major Nelson in a recent interview has denied this, he offered no specifics as to how that would be handled.
Is that with the Angry Joe Gamer, that interview you're talking about, just to clarify?
Yeah, he did a couple of interviews, specifically one with Reddit. Major Nelson specifically denied that games would be bricked after the generation, but really tried to avoid it, talking about as much as possible, saying, the generation hasn't even started yet. So it's like, well, unless you go into specifics and, provide clear guarantees of how, games would be accessible post-generation, then I have absolutely zero faith in that being the case, and absolutely zero confidence in there being, extended playability post-generation. I mean, how would you even go about activating new games that you've purchased secondhand post-generation? I mean, how would you even register on a non-existent server? I mean, would all games simply be unlocked? Would you not have to register them anymore? Could you install them on as many hard drives as you like?
It's an interesting one. I mean, I did see somewhere, and I don't know if to be honest, I've been a little bit out of the loop post E3, but I saw someone mention something about a specific version of the X1. Now, this might just be complete nonsense. That would be for areas with, inverted commas, no to weak online infrastructure or services, so like military serving abroad. Now, that might just be a knee-jerk reaction statement to, some of the, the submarine. I don't know with that submarine. I just, I don't know what that was all about. But, the military service who won't have internet connections, etc. But, yeah, I mean, the only way you could do it is, well, some sort of update. But then, it's just, like you say, it's a mess. I know Steam has the built-in statement that if anything should ever happen to Steam, everything becomes DRM-free, that the checks are in place.
Right.
For that to happen, if the worst case scenario would, Valve go under, then there is that. I wonder if Microsoft will have something like that in place. But to be honest, it's the same thing. It's like from the PR message. I mean, I've been mulling this over and over and over. There's no reason, and this is coming from a PR point of view and Microsoft's point of view, they could have spun this so much better. And it's kind of surprising how bad it was. I mean, they could have been like, well, we're transitioning into an online-only model, and but we still want to give people with poor internet connections the chance to install from disk because it will take too long. Blah blah blah. We're still thinking of the gamer. They could have spun it any number of ways, but instead they just didn't have a clue, and they said all the wrong things. And like Cheesy says, the confidence in what they're saying, you just thought, well, this is another lie. They're trying to throw, another spanner into the works. And it ended up, I got to 2 or 3 points where it's like, I just simply don't know anything about this machine at all. And now I'm getting just tied up in this DRM thing.
I think a lot of the, when you talked about the, what could happen, beyond this, what they've already said. And a lot of people are getting worried that things, even that we don't even know about, will happen. And they even have that disclaimer going, all things are subject to change. Yeah. Rather than a disclaimer, what they needed were a long list of assurances. And you, yes. like you said with Steam, I think, where when DRM, when Steam ceases to exist, this will happen. Here are the assurances. Yeah. I think a lot of people just watching the initial knee-jerk reactions by all these people. There's like 20 different gaming sites, and they're all reacting to the press release, and it was like playing a Fez game, trying to figure out going to internet and trying to figure out what does this really all mean, and everyone trying to getting together and trying to what does this truly mean, and then asking questions, and then trying to find the major Nelsons to pin them down, and what do they mean, and still we still don't know entirely.
Yeah, it's hard because they canceled basically all of their press interviews at E3, and yet they're running and hiding.
And then the top manager and the top people in the organization started making these horrible analogies about submarines and stuff like that. And it was clearly they were riffing, talking spontaneous rather than having these carefully prepared answers. Yeah, I think like you said, DC, they handled it the worst way possible.
Yeah, to quote from the Matrick Keeley interview, we have Matrick saying, "And unfortunately, we have a product for people who aren't able to get some form of connectivity. It's called Xbox 360.
Oh, that was the worst you could say.
Yeah. And then Keeley says, right, so stick with 360, that's your message if people don't like it? And Matrick says, well, if you have zero access to the internet, that is an offline device. I mean, seriously. When I read the blogs and thought about who's really the most impacted, there was a person who said, hey, I'm on a nuclear sub. And I don't even know what it means to be on a nuclear sub, but I've got to imagine that it's not easy to get an internet connection.
Yeah, it probably does know a lot more about nuclear subs, given that that involves isolation, not understanding people around you, being able to communicate to them properly. I think it's pretty damn similar to what's going on
living
at Microsoft.
In a bubble. Yeah.
But then I think the point where I really lost it was when they gave there was that sheet that came out, and it started talking about like empowering you with the choice to do what you want with your game, and it was like, hold on, but you're taking away a lot of the things that I've had for X many generations, all this choice, and you're trying to dress it up in language that makes it sound like you're doing something for me. And this is, the top and bottom of this is it's all carrot, all stick, no carrot. There's no good. There's nothing good coming out of this. There's no like. The one thing I did see was like there would maybe be a case that you could use the X million Xbox Live users to try and drive down prices, but that seems pretty unbelievable. So I don't see
price cuts
anything.
For a second.
There is nothing in this that gives me anything new. It takes away. It's just taking stuff away. The whole cloud thing was just spinning.
Dropping at a certain point, like faster than they would with their platinum system.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know.
No, there's no impetus for them to drop prices on games at all when they allow publishers to disable used game sales.
Yeah.
Full stop. I mean, when you're disabled from even getting back any resale value from your purchases, and it's basically stuck with you forever, or until the DRM servers go down, then, what you spent $60 or $70 on, you're no longer able to see any return on that value if you don't value that particular game at that price. I mean, the reason why a lot of people are willing to pay full price for a new game is that they are assuming that they're going to be able to get a chunk of that back at the end of it. And furthermore, the sales of used games drive purchases of new games. I mean, they turned that money right around into new games. And to throw a wrench into that whole economy just is like asking for trouble. It's like picking a fight with your customers.
Especially in a place like Japan where you don't even have rentals, the option of rentals.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
And the other thing as well is Microsoft, especially in Japan, which obviously we don't even know if the machine's coming here at this point in time, whether it's going to be part of Asia or whatever. They're in a precarious position here as it is. Very few people bought the X360. And I'm pretty sure with all this noise, people are going to shy away from X1. And if they go down the same route and say, well, only certain places can buy back. So as you say, it was Big Camera and Yodobashi and not the small independent sort of places like traders that we use here. I don't see how it's going to work. People are just going to run a mile, especially when it's not coming until the end of next year at the earliest. And then especially when the PS4 is probably going to hit before then. It's suicide. It's literally suicide for Japan, but maybe they've already written Japan off. I don't know.
It sounds to me, though, that at least... Yeah, go ahead.
Microsoft is committing Sudoku.
Death by numbers.
Right. Dates. Well, it definitely seems that... the way I took the message with Asia is that they didn't clump it together with Asia, so I'm still hoping that it's going to come out a couple months later. I mean, it's come out historically. What it was for the original Xbox, it came out February 22nd in Japan, and it released in the States the year before in November. And then for the 360, it was November 22nd, 2005. And then when did it come out in Japan? That was also wasn't that also February?
No, it was the same year, I think.
No, I think it came out afterwards, I thought. Because I was already playing the US machine, and I think I bought an Asian game and thinking that it would run on the US machine, so I ended up waiting just for the Japanese release.
It came out in Japan on December 10th, 2000.
Oh wow!
Okay, right.
There you go.
So it was only a month. So it went from 3 months to 1 month. So I would pray that they wouldn't go further than the original Xbox. That's just ridiculous.
If there's anything we should be praying for, it's the failure of the system altogether.
Well, that's you. Oh, we'll stop there. But
one of the other things, though, with Asia as well is at the moment X360 here in Japan is in the same clump as Asia, so the Asian games run here. It also has the advantage that if you want to import and at a lower price, you can do that. The other advantage as well is that the language support, if you don't speak fluent Japanese and you want to play maybe a game in the original language, that's another big advantage that we have at the moment. But looking at the way that the language is coming out now, where it's saying, well, it's going to check your region. If it's IP driven and they're going to start saying, well, you're in Japan and this game came from Asia region, Hong Kong or whatever, you're not going to be able to play it. That's going to be another massive kick in the teeth. It's going to be so we have to see. But there's still the option that they can backtrack on a lot of this. And I've been trying to think of, come TGS, is there anything that they could do that would turn this around or make me flip? And the only thing I can think of, and it's never going to happen in a million years, is if they stand up and say, we've done a deal with all the publishers and this is the highest price that they can set, and that price be significantly lower, but that's not going to happen.
No, they're not going to do price fixing.
No, and that's the only thing.
Or assurance that prices will be lower, like the big discounts on Steam.
No, they're not going to promise anything.
Well, not what they will likely do, but what they need to do, I guess.
Well, yeah, I agree that's not going to happen, but that's the only thing at this point that I can see as a way out of this hole. Or just say, well, we've listened to our customers and we've decided to scrap it. But this is the other thing. I've mentioned this as well elsewhere. Even if we didn't have all this, in the face of the PS4, they've still got a massive problem. They're going against a more powerful machine with 100% price on top.
100%?
$100.
$100. Good grief.
Financial analyst.
But yeah, it's $100 more. It looks like it's going to be noticeably weaker. And, for Japan, things like the TV stuff, we're probably not going to get. So...
The online thing isn't the reason that it says it's always online because it uses the cloud, and apparently the cloud... it is they're offsetting a lot of the
this is a big question.
So some of the games may constantly need an internet connection in order to check in with the cloud.
Well, even if a game utilizes some cloud computational features, that's still no reason to require a daily check-in. I mean, you could easily disable some cloud-based features in a game. Those, have to be optional. I mean, if you just turn those off, let you play your single-player games offline without a check. I mean, just leave the disk in the drive. How hard is that? I mean, make the installs optional.
What happens if a lot of the instructions it's doing are actually on the cloud, so it needs to pull that data off the cloud constantly?
I mean, there was that argument that they were going to use sort of deferred processing of the cloud or use the cloud's power. But if you're going to make that claim, then show it. Give us an example of it running. Show us what you mean. That would be part of.
They
what
did
the
do that with NSA, NASA, but that was. I think that wasn't game related.
That's not game related at all.
Yeah, which was why it was a terrible way of doing it. It was neat, but it wasn't.
Calculating the locations of hundreds of thousands of asteroids. It's like, how are you going to use that in a game, and why does it matter? I mean, you can simulate that locally.
And Azure Cloud Service, they're both supposed to be able to offload some of the computations. So, but I think it's a matter of, will Microsoft beat Gaikai? Because, they're already winning on the hardware, but like Microsoft said they're going to have probably, about 300,000 virtual servers spread across the world, and like if you look at Xbox 360, like as of April, they've got 77 million consoles worldwide. So that if you do some simple math there, that's about 250 some Xboxes per server. So we have no idea what that's going to do in terms of offsetting computations for certain games. Or whether that's going to continue to increase the size of this. I have no idea about this stuff because it's all new. The only good thing about Microsoft is that it has been running. It already is running, and they are using it for already games like Halo 4. So they have a good head start for that, but we still have no idea what that means.
Yeah, they didn't provide any concrete examples of cloud computing that's actually useful in a game.
Right. So it could be true. Long term, it could be like the ultimate holy grail, but I don't think they've done a terrible job at proving that to us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's certainly nothing that would sell.
Forza 4, they're creating the Drivatar AI, so the AI is handled by the clouds. We know that, right? But that was pretty boring.
Yeah.
For the new Forza anyway.
So they generate an AI based upon your play style, and then they store that in their servers, and then other people can race against that. That seems like not really a very compelling use of.
You need one compelling argument for that relates to games, and that's where they failed.
Basically, that's just like sharing save data. Not a huge deal.
Right. Okay. Let's get into their press conference then.
Yeah.
Okay. So opened with Metal Gear Solid 5. Who needed new pants?
It did look
Mehdi
pretty
Yusuf.
Which one? Our Mehdi or their Mehdi?
Both.
Yeah.
It was a great way to start the keynote.
Actually, who watched this live?
I
did.
It live, yeah.
Yeah.
I did too. So, DC, did you watch it live?
Yeah, I watched it live.
Cheesy?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Wowza. Were you just watching it just to throw hate at it?
Sometimes you just want to watch the world burn.
Excellent. Okay, so it started off with Metal Gear Solid 5. Were you anybody surprised by this, or?
Not particularly surprised. I think the point where I was surprised is when Kojima came out onto the stage, and I thought if he says beyond any shadow of doubt that this is an exclusive, and then walks off, then wow, this is huge. This is a really big thing. And I was starting to get worried that, when Microsoft made that statement about the $1 billion bet, that they just money hatted everything, and it was just going to be, you would have no choice. But then when he just sort of said hi and then walked off, I was like, okay, so PS4 and probably PC as well.
Right.
So that it's not. It was still a great way to start the show, no doubt about it. But it was pretty clear that he was going elsewhere.
Okay, so were you impressed by what you saw?
Yeah, I'm not a massive Metal Gear fan, but it's had its moments for me. And the first two acts of Metal Gear 4 I really liked, and I thought Peace Walker was brilliant. And this looks like it's going to be more that sort of style to me. It looked more like the parts of Metal Gear that I enjoyed. Plus, it looked like a bit like Red Dead Ocelot or whatever. Red Dead.
It did.
Revolver.
It immediately reminded you of Red Dead Redemption.
Well, because of the horses.
The horse, yeah.
Well, yeah, it was like Snake character added to Red Dead.
Yeah,
DLC, right?
Yeah, DLC. I was immediately thinking.
Yeah. So I thought it was funny that they just fast forwarded the horses.
Yeah, they were on time lapse.
Well, I was kind of hoping that's going to be a feature in the game. Just let me fast forward this
fast path.
Is it because it's that boring?
And what Metal Gear Solid is going to need is some zombie DLC now.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep you busy along the way.
Yeah. So, I was pretty impressed with it.
Well, the extended, I don't know if did any of you watch the extended video?
No.
8 minute, because that was extremely violent. They had like a red version and a green version, but they had like children, soldiers holding weapons, killing. It was really violent. I mean, they definitely had a good merit for a green version, a lighter version, because it was gross.
Really?
So it's more than Red Dead. It's Red Dead, and it's kind of gone more violent than I've seen in a lot of games. So there's a lot of shock value. I can see why they didn't show it at the press conference.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see how that goes with the tone, because Metal Gear 4 in certain parts was just absolutely ridiculous, and there's been parts of the series where it's just stupid. So, if it's going to be completely violent, but then you're going to have, strange dancing and, weird scenes, then I wonder how that's going to mix.
Yeah, you have to pick a tone and stick with it.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So after that, they went on to the new Xbox 360 look. They unveiled that with no price drop, which is kind of dumb, I thought. So what's the point of unveiling a new system where it's not any cheaper?
Isn't it more expensive?
No. I don't think so. And they said it was available now as well?
What was that?
Yeah, that day.
That day, right? The new Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What was that?
What was what?
Yeah, available that day?
Yeah, it was available that day. Yeah, the new 360. And that looks like a Xbox One.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it didn't drop price, so I didn't understand. What's the point of making a new piece of hardware if you haven't refined it enough to drop the price?
Well, I think it expands their profit margins, if anything.
Yeah.
Less red Ring of Death factor.
Yeah, well, there's that.
Okay. And then they went into World of Tanks, which is... anyone played that?
No.
No, I signed up for the beta, though.
Well, you signed up for the beta because of what you saw on this?
No, it's just because it was right there dangling.
Oh, okay. Okay, and then they showed something else. I can't remember what it was called, but I described it as Trying for Kids. Do you remember what the next thing was?
Yeah, I remember the game, but I can't remember the title.
Is it Below? No, it wasn't. Sorry.
Below was the indie game.
Below was the indie game, right. Yeah, I don't know what it was. And then it was Dark Souls 2. Anyone interested? If they
Dark Souls 2? Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a game that...
I don't know what's going to happen to this game. They seem to be throwing a hell of a lot of money at it. So, what I saw looked good. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how. I mean, what made the Dark Souls 1 great was how unrelentingly painful it was to play. So it'll be interesting to see how it all balances together.
Yeah, if there's still no pause button in it, I don't think I'll even bother picking her up. You can't pause it, and having kids, it's kind of impossible to play. You can't just drop your controller and walk away because you come back, you will be dead. Unless you find a fire, but you can't tell your kid to wait while daddy goes look for a fire. So
did you finish it, DC?
I didn't. I keep meaning to go back. I've actually bought it on the PC, the PS3, and the X360. So I'm actually back.
You have children as well. Was that a factor for you? I'm just curious.
No. I tend to do all my gaming after kids have gone to bed, and plus I bashed through most of Dark Souls, when it first came out. So, but yeah, I need to get back to it. They did interrupt me finishing it.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so then after Dark Souls 2, we then saw the first Xbox One game demo called Rise, Son of Rome by Crytek. This was announced 2 years ago. It was a Kinect game, right?
What?
Yeah, I think it did start off as a Kinect.
Oh, did they? What was it?
yeah.
What was it titled as? I don't remember that.
But yeah, it was Crytek, I think, announced it 2 years ago as a Kinect game. But now it's a launch game for the Xbox One. It looked pretty.
It looked gorgeous.
It looked like 300.
Oh, yeah. And there is a sequel coming out for that, so this is like the game sequel.
I have to imagine that the allusions to 300 were intentional.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
The thing I liked, or was most impressed about it, was the eyes. The eyes looked fairly real. They didn't look like Uncanny Valley type eyes. They looked like there was a lot of expression in there. So a lot of like fear and grimace and stuff when you kill people. It just.
I mean, yeah.
It looked
that
intense.
beachhead was kind of foreboding. I was thinking of what is it? What's the Kinect Battle Mech game that I completely forgot
I
about?
thought it was Call of Duty.
Steel Battalion?
Steel Battalion. It was like let's do Steel Battalion again, except with 300 theme.
Yeah, to me, the first thing I thought was like, oh, it's one of the Call of Duty beach landing levels, but
Yeah.
right.
but set in Rome.
Exactly,
But then,
that's what I thought.
I mean,
Well,
it
like,
looked
yeah,
great. But
Saving
then,
Private, Spartacus.
yeah, yeah. But then it sort of went from that, and then suddenly it was God of War.
Yeah.
And then there was a lot of QTEs, etc. And I was like, hang on, this is everything that I've got bored with in the last gen. Like, I'm sick of Call of Duty, I'm sick of God of War, and I'm sick of QTEs. And here it is. It looks great, but it's
I was
the
happy
same
that the primary
stuff.
input was the controller. That was.
Yeah, but I was the same with that, and with the another game I guess we're going to talk about later, where it does make a big difference. But then it's kind of like, so what's Kinect for? Other than watching me, and then we're back to the original point of DRM, etc. But I don't know. I didn't have any. I have no interest in playing Rise at all. As it's
Really?
nothing,
Kind of
zero
for that. Even though I have low expectations, it's one of those that I like as a theme, so I'll buy it even if it's a bad game.
Right.
It's Crytek though. They make pretty looking games, but they're pretty thin on content.
Yeah, Crisis. I mean, they've got a good backing.
Well, Crisis 1 is really good. But
Yeah, but that's good. But the rest of them are not.
yeah,
They're
that's true.
pretty thin. They just look really pretty. They've got a great engine, but they don't have much substance. Excuse me? What was that?
That was me, sorry.
What? You got an elephant in your room?
That was the Microsoft's.
What?
Yeah, that was Microsoft's press conference.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Where I got into QTEs, it was the way they slowed it down. They're like, press the Y button when you want to stomp on his head, and they slowed it down, giving you ample time to do that. Really is what ticked me.
Yeah, I think my comment was press Y to yawn. It's just
Oh, right.
like just stop.
Yeah, I was thinking if it could be more Hatsune Miku, unrelenting, very quick type of thing, then I could get into it. Because QTE, everybody knows where the triangle, squares, X's, and the X's and Y's, and the blue, the red B's, and all of that stuff. We know where it is. So
Right.
just give us something very hard, at least.
Okay, so talking about hard, how about doing those HE4 hit combos on Killer Instinct?
Oh, yes.
Really?
Combo breaker.
Can I snore now, please?
Oh, come on.
No, hated it. Never liked
Well,
it.
you don't like it, but you don't like it, right? What are you angry
I
with
played
about
it.
it? Tell us what you don't like.
I hate it. Just hate the game. Hate the look. Hate the style. I hate.
Well, that means that's like you with Lord of the Rings or various things, right? You just blanket hate it, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Right. Okay.
My friend was amazing at it, and he made everyone else look stupid when he
That
played
game
it.
is the worst game to play if you're terrible. If you're a victim and you're playing that game and
No.
you're putting
The
money
thing
in.
was, I could button mash and I could beat people, and that's what I was like, eh.
Yeah, my brother was the same way. He played in tournaments up to the top levels where he beat the playtesters, and it was a big game in Chicago in the gaming scene back in the day. And seeing it come out like that,
Yeah, but now this game is being made by some what's the
Double
Helix.
Helix.
yeah Double Helix. They made awful games.
yeah, but they do have some people on there from the original team. They said.
Stop it!
Sorry. Added
How many
special
people are on
effects.
the original team? I mean, Rare. I mean, how long ago did Killer Instinct come out? How many people are still there? I mean, to be honest, what, 2?
Then they've got a pro gamer that's on like the EVA tournament scene. They've got some old Street Fighter developers on it.
Yeah, but
It looks like there's passion behind it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, well,
It's not just like let's get the worst team
so
out
did
there to put
PlayStation
on it and
All-Stars,
try
but
it
look at that.
because it's play for free type of thing. Let's get the worst people on there.
Right.
It does look like there's some passion behind the project. I mean, that is a bad record. Yeah,
But
so
just looking at the art style in the game, it looks like they've completely changed how all of the characters look. I mean, they no longer have their distinctive, unique appearances, and it looks like a completely different game to
Yeah,
me.
it doesn't
really.
look like Killer Instinct as far as I'm concerned.
No.
Killer Instinct to me looks like CG, you know what I mean? Like all those nice, smooth CG, but now
I don't know.
that's
I
all
compared
gone.
the two side by side, and it looked a lot better to me.
Jago was supposed to be skinny, and now he's this big, muscular, steroid-bound.
Well, he has been away for 20
Fucking-
years. He's been in the gym.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get over that. Sunset Overdrive by Insomniac Games. They seem to have done a complete U-turn and gone to 360. How do people feel about that one?
What?
Insomniac Games, they used to be exclusive to PlayStation, right?
You said 360?
Yeah, sorry, Xbox One, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've done a U-turn to
Xbox original.
Xbox.
Jeez.
Anybody? No.
It looked like actually it reminded me of some of the older, crazier Sega games, like from the Dreamcast sort of era. It at least looked thematically like it could be quite interesting.
Look like Jet Set Radio with guns.
Yeah,
With
exactly.
guns. So it might be awful, it might be great, but at least it was something a little bit different.
Well, Insomniac are very good with their weapons. You know, they're great at coming up with crazy weapons. But I don't know. Maybe. I mean, hopefully, I don't know. Fuse was meant to be good as well, but look at that. That was terrible.
Yeah.
So I haven't got much of a hope for it, to be honest. So, but I mean, I do like Insomniac as a developer. I have enjoyed their past games before, but I don't know, the past few that they've done, they haven't really grabbed me at all. And especially Fuse was, I mean, the reviews that got was awful. And next we've got Forza 5. Anybody interested? They look pretty.
Looks gorgeous.
Yeah, but I mean, how many car sim games do you really need?
Well, Xbox One has got one.
Everybody's got one.
Everyone's got. Every machine needs one, right?
Yeah, I guess.
PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4,
Yeah, everyone needs
Xbox
them.
One.
Apparently, though, there's not a lot of stuff in there because they've left like a lot of like in Forza 4 you had like daytime and stuff like that, and all that's gone. You know, time lapse type stuff is all gone. I'm not sure. Yeah, it did look pretty. The driver tar bull was kind of made me laugh. But yeah,
Sound like drive-a-tards.
driver tards. Yes.
Like pants you
Sounded like-
put on, like pants you put on when you go driving.
Uh,
Leotards.
then
No, it sounded like Drive on Tar.
drive on tar.
Yeah.
Right, I'd rather run it. Okay, so next Big Phil came on with Minecraft and said that was coming to Xbox One.
7 to
And
12-year-old range. Yep, they all want it.
Yeah, but it's like sold 6 million units, so it's a pretty big deal.
And that's why we should believe that Xbox One supports indie developers,
Yes.
apparently.
So, yeah, then Remedy came on with their Quantum Break exclusive. I still have no idea what this game is. It looks pretty, but I've got no idea what it is.
Blurring the line between TV and gameplay.
Oh,
It's
God.
I have no idea what that means.
The character renders, looked like they were just about out of the uncanny valley, and it was really cool that they stopped time. But
Yeah.
I don't know if they can really blend that with, recorded television footage. I'm really skeptical about that.
I have a sneaking suspicion that they're gonna like make some TV download stuff you can pay, like for the new Halo TV series, where you're gonna be paying for some TV stuff later. I don't know. It just smells bad.
Yeah.
Original TV content.
Talking about smelling bad, Sweaty 65 D4.
Episodic series train wreck.
Yeah.
Is it episodic, really?
Yeah, it's episodic.
Oh, It looked like a Scanner Darkly.
Yeah, that's what I thought as soon as it started. I was like, what? Where's Keanu Reeves?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not interested at all, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like his stuff. I don't like his games. Unfortunately. Sorry. Get the hate. Bring the hate.
A lot of hate.
Then they showed Project Spark using smart glass. This reminded me of Little Big Planet if it was designed by Peter Molyneux.
Yeah.
Reminded me of Dust.
It's like Populous,
Yeah. Right.
updated almost, yeah.
So it's quite funny, isn't it? Like Big Phil, Phil Harrison, that is. He found Media Molecule for like Little Big Planet for PlayStation. Then he goes to Microsoft, and then he does this Project Spark, which is kind of along similar veins, which is like creation and stuff. Big Phil's into his creation stuff, isn't he?
I guess.
Whoa, dead silence. Okay. Next. Yeah. Okay, then they did some Killer Instinct again, doing some fighting with a fighting stick and some rape jokes. That was quite fun.
Just let it happen. It'll be over
Killer
soon.
Instinct joke with the Killer Instinct stick.
Yeah.
You can't. I bought a Mortal Kombat stick. I won't be able to use that. $100 down the drain.
Mm-hmm.
For big products like that, they really need to do something because people just can't continue to buy those.
Well,
It's a
it
racket.
depends if I mean, is there anything in the controller that is not in the current controller? Because if there is, you can't use it. It's like the PS4.
It's usually the button arrangement that's different, though, right?
Well, the PS4's got like a touchpad on it.
Right.
You haven't got a touchpad on the.
Yeah, I can't imagine that being necessary. But yeah, if they're going to push something that would require something unique to the Xbox controller.
So yeah,
Yeah.
Then they
transfer to a stick. I don't know.
Twitch TV built into the 360, which I thought was pretty cool because.
The 360?
Sorry, the Xbox One. Sure. The Xbox One, yeah, is built into Xbox One, which is pretty cool. I definitely prefer Twitch to Ustream for a number of reasons. We'll probably get into that a little bit later.
Hopefully they'll put out a big upgrade, with the software.
Who?
Twitch.
Twitch is good.
Don't you want to see some big improvements there? I mean, if it performed as it has, would you be satisfied with that?
Yeah, because it doesn't lag and it doesn't stop me from watching it, and it doesn't time out all the time like Ustream and.
Because all right.
Ustream,
Yeah, I guess Justin TV and Ustream is where we had most trouble.
No, I've never really had any trouble with Twitch. It's always been with Ustream. Twitch has always been pretty solid. Anyways, bleh. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Prince and Dragon was an exclusive. The makers of it's kind of a spiritual successor of Panzer Dragoon, right?
It features no audio.
And it features no audio. Oh my god! I would have been extremely upset if I was a developer publisher.
Sure.
And my trailer came on with no sound, and they didn't bother going back to.
Or Tatsugi, the developer, the lead guy. Yeah, I mean, because essentially, it was formerly Project Draco, which showed at TGS 2010. They bumped him to the next console, and then they cut his audio feed.
That's like adding insult to injury.
What, can you imagine when that guy is looking in the mirror?
His big debut.
Yeah.
Well, it went from a Kinect to now it's Kinect or controller, right?
That was the biggest thing for me because I didn't want to play it. I mean, I think I made a joke before E3. There's like the worst thing that could possibly happen is Panzer Dragoon's spiritual successor, where I have to hold my hands out like a dragon or
do the hokey pokey.
Don't want to do it. So that was made probably this the most interesting title on X1 for me. To know that but I don't know what it's going to be like, whether it's going to be like Panzer Dragoon Regular or Panzer Dragoon Saga or.
It looked pretty close to what they showed 5 months ago. I mean, it was different. You could tell it was definitely had a graphical retool. Everything looked better because it was for the Xbox One, but it looked like it played the same. Had that very Panzer Dragoon kind of afterburner. Right. Locking on the enemies.
Okay, then after that there was Dead Rising 3, which is an exclusive, which I was kind of surprised.
It was like,
it seems to be open world now. It doesn't seem to have the comedy element to it anymore.
Yeah, that was the biggest surprise. It was suddenly just like another. They took away what made Dead Rising, and just made it like the sea of other zombie games, which seems like a really weird decision to take. It's like you're shooting yourself in the foot.
It's like The Walking Dead, right? No.
And you throw away your weapons? What? Why would you do that?
I have no idea.
I did like they did say that the zombies can hear you squirming around on the couch.
Yeah.
That sounded
they
like
can see your
really
pulse
wrong.
and they get hungry when your pulse goes up. No, I don't.
They did, and then what about the glass? Where you could call in some like some airplane?
Support.
Yeah,
using smart glass, right?
The smart glass integration. I don't know.
Yeah,
how that is, like dropping the controller, picking up this thing, and calling in a bombing strike.
In the zombie apocalypse, you do not have air support. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, it's not entirely true.
No sense at all.
You could totally have a little castle fortification and do your deal.
Yeah.
Okay, then we went to Witcher 3, Wild Hunt. Anyone interested?
Possibly, but probably not on a console.
Right. Yeah, which it was a bit surprising coming from CD Projekt, who are all anti-DRM.
Yeah.
Yes, they are actually. Where are they from? Poland?
Yeah.
Why isn't Jack on?
Because he's Jack off. Oh dear.
Is he drunk? He was drunk last night. I wanted them to get him on. A drunk Pole would have been quite funny.
Yeah. Anyway, the Xbox One is not coming to Poland.
Right.
Oh, wow. So, okay.
Or Peru.
Or Chile.
Or Japan at this rate.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we hit Battlefield 4. And
which also had no audio.
It also didn't work for like a minute, and the guy on stage was...
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was my favourite part. Just
the guy was getting seriously angry, saying like, be quiet.
I'm fine.
I'm fine.
Are we going forward? Are we going? He's like,
reboot the PC.
You could hear people in the audience.
It came out like
shouting,
blasting at full volume afterwards.
Right, you could hear people in the audience shouting, Xbox sucks.
So someone needed to scream out pew pew pew,
yeah,
fill it in.
That was quite. Yeah, it's quite funny. But then it did get going. And
it looked really good.
Looked pretty impressive.
I'm definitely getting that baby. It's just a matter of what console or where to get it. PC, that sort of thing.
Okie dokie. Then here we go. Indie game by was it Capybara Games?
Yeah.
Below.
It's like squint to see what was going on.
I had no idea what was going on.
I don't know. The graphics were pretty indistinct.
Didn't. Yeah.
It looked like it could be fun. Just didn't really. It didn't. It wasn't one of those type of games that show well at a big event like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked. I mean, it looks like it could be fun, but again, it's like, it's probably. Is it going to go to PC? I'd have thought so. You know.
Well, it says exclusive, so
it is exclusive. Oh, I thought it was probably not going to be, but yeah. I mean, fine. It looks okay. I like roguelike games anyway, so.
Then Black Tusk Studios showed their game, but gave absolutely no details whatsoever. I don't even know what kind of game it is. Other than, I guess it's a shooter. No idea.
Nope.
No, don't remember.
No.
Okay, that interesting, huh? And then came was it Halo Journey Edition?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could have sworn it was Journey 2.
Yeah. Until the chief.
The quality of the flattering of the Tatooine cloak, though, you knew it was a high quality AAA game, quadruple A game.
I kind of felt it was Halo already, but why the hell would Master Chief be wearing a? Why would he be wearing?
I think he's headed to the mountaintop.
Yeah.
But he's got a suit on
his own.
He's got a suit on. Why would he need?
Well, it did look pretty messed up. Like it was like battle torn, and so I don't know why he would be doing that.
What is sand eroding his suit now?
I mean, it wasn't fully functioning. I mean, he was holding. I don't know if you look carefully, but he had like these dog tags, and it was the AI data core chip for Cortana. So it's like he's got her, but she's really not with him, and everyone's like, "What's going on?" So that was a big WTF if you've picked up on that. And then suddenly the big Forerunner bird bursts out like the Rising Phoenix. I don't know what that was. It did look kind of like the Halo 2 release announcement trailer. It was kind of the same setting.
Really?
But
it might just be me, and I think it probably is, because I think we discussed this a little bit offline, but I was a really big Halo fan. Halo 1, Halo 2. Halo 3 started to go downhill, and then the other games, the in-between games, ODST, etc. I played and finished, but I was just like, okay, just let's get this through this. But
so you're talking about the single player you're referring to?
To be honest, we used to play like LAN parties for Halo 1.
Right, because that was the glory days.
That was amazing.
That was the glory days.
Halo 2 online was great, and Halo 3 I played a fair bit of, but then I started dropping off as, people...
Yeah, I think a lot of people... I had about 10,000 plays on Halo 2, and then it was like 5,000, 3,000, 800. I think a lot of people are that way, that have stuck with it so long. You just get sort of tired.
I think that's the big thing with Halo is... if someone had said to me even 5 or 6 years ago, well, 5 or 6 years ago, maybe pushing it, but that I'd be just about a Halo announcement. I bought 4 and I played it and I was like, this is pretty, but I just can't be bothered playing this. I'm just seriesed out with Halo and Gears of War, although that didn't make an appearance. I don't know what it is.
This is the second chapter in a new series, so it was expected. I mean, it was a straight up sequel to 4, and they finished the first story arc, and this is the second one in the new trilogy. So it was expected, but I was surprised to see it so fast.
Yeah,
and just for Xbox One, they didn't do something cheesy like Xbox 360 and Xbox One, which we're seeing a lot of, which is kind of turning me off.
Yeah.
Talk about turning you off. $499.
Was that before the Titanfall?
No, that was before Titanfall. Yes, price and date.
Right,
there was no specific date.
Well, there was no specific date. No, but
it was leaked beforehand, right, by the Rare guy who said, November, in one of the interviews on Game Trailers. Was it Game Trailers?
Yeah, like during the pre-show.
So it was like, did he just say November?
Yeah, so November at $499. What do you think about the $499?
To be honest, I mean, if I'm telling the truth, I was sort of expecting $499 anyway, so it wasn't a massive surprise.
Right.
But, obviously, when they then get undercut, it makes it a little bit harder to take, especially when you then think, well, is it because the Kinect that I didn't ask for or want is pushing it up?
Bundled with it. There's no There's no other reason why it's $499. It is because of Kinect being in the box, right?
Yeah. And so, unless there's going to be some killer games that use it.
But there aren't. No,
and that's the thing. Yeah.
Kinect games were announced. So, well, okay, you have Kinect Sports Rivals was announced, but that's hardly a killer app for a peripheral.
This was the biggest criticism I really had, because I think everyone has agreed that the sensor technology has improved enough to where you can understand them, including it with the Xbox. But they didn't show you a game that made you want to just, here's my money, take it. They didn't have a game like that there. In the 360, I think they really pushed it very hard, and it seemed like they should have kept on that strong push with a launch day title that everyone's going to run, even if it's hybrid. Fantasia looks like it could be really good, though.
Yeah.
I mean, based on what a lot of people said, they said it's really hard to explain, but then they try to, and then they go, well, you should just try it for yourself.
But it's just a really simplistic UI with sparkles and cubes and pop music.
I haven't heard it explained that way, but unless you've played it, if you played it, I'm willing to listen.
Well, I haven't played it, but I saw some gameplay footage, so.
Big giant bomber all over that, right? Anyways,
yeah, I've heard a few people, though, say some pretty good things about it.
So $499, if it was $499 in Japan here, that'd be like Gomayen, right? It's about
50,000 yen.
50,000 yen. Dollar parity.
Would you pay that? Would you drop that kind of money on a Xbox One here?
No. Well, I mean, let's face the reality. If it's going to be late next year at $499,
plus wasn't the PS3 in Japan like 60,000 yen? when it came
It
out?
was, but the PS3 was the follow-up to one of the greatest machines of all time. So, I mean, even then, it got a bit of leeway. I mean, saying that, it's not like the X360 was any slouch.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying,
but the
right?
Sony took a hell of a beating over that. I mean, they really did.
Yeah.
And before the TGS in the run-up to the launch, it was actually priced much higher than that, right? Could have argued it went very, I think it was it 8-man, and, it was something ridiculous. Because I remember at the time, I was like, I'm not going to pay that much. And there was people around me saying, I'm going to pre-order as soon as I can. And I was like, well, that's, that is a lot of money for a console. And then it came down and it was still a lot of money, but, yeah.
I wound up getting a PS3 on launch day in Japan for 50,000 yen, which at the time was only $430, which was a steal compared to the prices America was getting.
Oh, okay, exchange rate wise, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Stephen, would you drop?
Yeah, I'm. It's weird. It's weird because Halo 4 the next Halo is going to be coming out in 2014. So, and we still don't know what that's going to mean for the launch. We don't have a launch date, so it's kind of hard to. I won't buy it right away. Right? Maybe
you couldn't even import it if you wanted to. Anyway.
Right. That's another thing. You can't import it. So, like with the original Xbox, that came out in November, and then so when I went home for Christmas, I had it and I brought it back with me. And then when it came out in February, I had already played it for a long time, so which was great. I couldn't go home for Christmas and then come back with a new Xbox, which is probably what I would do if I could. But since that's not an option, and it looks like Destiny's definitely they're pushing for the PlayStation 3, that might be my choice console for Destiny.
I mean PlayStation 4.
Or PlayStation 4, sorry. Now Martin's got me doing it.
So so after the price and date, we went to Titanfall.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Go ahead, you guys be negative, and then I'll talk.
I'm not negative at all. I thought it looked
awesome.
I
thought it looked good as well.
I'm not negative whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, that's one I downloaded from Gamerside because they had it running at 60 frames per second and downloaded it. I'm like, I've never downloaded anymore these days, but I downloaded and watched it like 7-8 times.
Right.
It was one of those types that didn't look like it was elaborately designed demo built just for E3. It was just straight up multiplayer, and it did a good job at showing the different diverse styles of combat between the infantry with the jetpacks and then, of course, the piloted mechs. They did a really good job at the cat and mouse gameplay style where you were pursuing or being pursued and jumping and bounding off of these walls to get and flank the mechs and triangulate them and hit them from multiple sides. And it was really good. It looked amazing.
Yeah, it looked like parkour, right? Parkour with.
Yeah, so. It was a little bit of Mirror's Edge, I felt like.
So, is this something that you would drop the money on? Is this a launch title?
I don't think so. I think it's launch window.
Right. Okay. But yeah, I mean, I was pretty impressed with it.
So if this comes out before Halo, I would buy it just for this because it doesn't look like it's going to come out for the PlayStation 4, but hit the PC first.
Right.
So if you're like DC, you just chucked up all this money for a new rig. That might be your choice. Titanfall for. It looks like it could be good in Japan, though. I think because of the mechs. I think Japanese might be into that game more so than Gears of War. I think Gears of War has done the best out of these types of FPS games. And mechs, they're cuckoo for.
They love their mechs.
That could save the Xbox, that's an overstatement. Okay, let me retract. But it definitely is probably one of the few titles that will do better here, potentially.
So overall, the Microsoft conference, how did you guys rate it? I mean, I was impressed that it was just games.
It's clearly in
there was very little
bubble.
There was very
it was
little
very good.
talk. There was very little there wasn't any slides and stuff of how much they've sold in their previous games or whatever like that. It was just like games. That was good, but none of the actual games I was interested in. So
yeah.
There were a lot of games I think that were interesting to me. If you're in an FPS, I think you're set. But yeah,
I mean the last one, Titanfall. Okay, yes, that one. But the rest of them, no, I wasn't interested in.
Yeah, that and Crimson Dragon was basically was basically it.
You know,
Right.
to
And
be
I guess
fair,
Quantum Break, depending on what happens with it.
I can't say anything about Quantum Break because I haven't got a clue what it is.
Yeah, I want to see what
Yeah.
actually happens with it.
I know that they're very good at storytelling and stuff like that, and Alan Wake was pretty good, but you can't really tell.
Yeah.
So
it's hard to tell what's going to happen with it, but freezing time is an interesting concept, and if you turn that into a game, it could be pretty good. I mean, I'm certainly interested in Quantum Break and Sunset Overdrive and Killer Instinct, but I will not be buying any of them or the system at all if the online DRM remains in place.
right, yeah. I'm pretty much in the same boat. The reason I wouldn't buy a 360 is plain and simple.
You mean an Xbox One?
Xbox One. What do I keep saying?
It's a naming that's doing it. I'm telling you.
Doing it, yeah.
Just call it Batsu Ichi. It's been divorced once.
Yeah, the reason I wouldn't buy one, which is plain and simple, is I need to be able to sell my games in order to fund my next purchase.
Right. Plain and simple for you.
Plain and simple for me. I haven't got a disposable income.
You're their greatest enemy.
So
I mean, there are a lot of people out there who I think more so like cheesy, maybe who are angry in principle. And you're free to argue that later, but for Martin, that hits home for you.
yeah,
I would be shocked if you said you're going to buy it.
I mean, if it didn't have, I mean, to be honest, if it said that you had, obviously it says that you have to connect every 24 hours. I don't care because everything I've got is connected, so that doesn't matter. Yeah, that doesn't matter to me.
The deal breaker is
not being able to sell it and only being able to sell it at participating retailers, which in Japan wouldn't be any because
if I bought if I buy the Xbox One and you buy it and I put you in my family list as part of my gaming posse, because you don't have to be blood relatives, you in theory could be playing a lot of games for free.
But I wouldn't be able to play what you were playing at the same time. So say for instance you were playing,
you can play split screen games that are single player.
We don't live in the same house. You know?
I'm sorry?
No.
We don't live in the same apartment, so I mean we couldn't do split screen anyway. What I'm saying is, I've
been told though that you can do split screen separate. Am I wrong? Or no, that's together, right? Pardon me. Go ahead.
What?
Go ahead.
Stop drinking. Are you drinking umeboshi again?
Yeah.
I thought so.
Umeboshi juice, pickle juice. Go ahead.
So, I mean, in principle, that's pretty cool. But if I want to play, say for instance, Titanfall, and you want to play Titanfall, you can't play it at the same time.
Right.
You can't.
No. So it doesn't really work.
But in the theory, you can buy it and never buy any game. You can get all these games for free.
I got to be honest though, guys. I don't believe this for a split second that they're going to let, after implementing all this DRM, they're going to let you share 10 copies of one game.
You know how much gamers are going to abuse that?
Yeah, I mean,
they're going to find a way to.
Sony used to allow you to do it for 5, right? Yeah. And they wound it back to 2 after publishers complained. I just cannot see for the life of me them allowing 10 copies.
The one thing that they're touting as like the good thing about in all of this mess, they're gonna retract some of that and renege that, and then what are you left with?
you get left being exponed.
Yeah, or it'd be something like, well, you can do it, but then for every hour you play, you pay X dollars or whatever. So it's self-marketing or whatever. There's got to be a catch. There's no way they're going to give you 10 free copies. Effectively, it's not going to work.
Okay, so let's move on.
But I'm probably gonna buy it, but it may not be launch.
Don't do it.
No, I don't think it's possible for Steve not to be able to buy it. He will buy it.
Yeah, my wife told me as well. She said, "Are you going to buy an X1?" I was like, "No, definitely not." And she just burst out laughing. It was like, "You so don't know yourself. You'll be there day one." And I sort of just whimpered. And
that being said, I mean, for Martin, I truly believe him this time. But almost every time you may at one point, I'm not going to get it, but then you want it and you end up getting it.
Yeah.
So this was the one time I can see you not getting it, though.
I was definitely not getting a Wii U. And I was there day
for
one.
me, that's 2014 as well. And, Xbox One might be 2014.
If you're lucky.
If I'm lucky.
If you're lucky. So
first quarter, I'm hoping.
I doubt it. I really doubt it. Anyways, let's move on to Sony.
Yes.
Righty. How How do you want to do this one then? Do you want to do it pretty much the same way as I've just done the
keep going.
Xbox One?
Just like this.
Just like, okay, what we've got on the printout. Fair enough. Okay, so Sony came on and started talking about their Vita, which...
yeah, bad news first.
bad news, yeah, get the bad news out of the way, which they spent like 2 minutes on. But
yeah.
The thing is, at the press conference, they spent like 2 minutes on the Vita. If you went to the show floor, there was so many Vita games there.
Really?
That's the same. That was the same as last time.
Yeah. There was so many Vita games there, and apparently a lot of them are very good. So I'm not worried about the Vita, because now that the Vita, I mean, there's a lot of games coming up for it, which I already know, but now it's got like the backup of the PS4.
Yeah, the remote play is really what can take this thing and turn it around.
Yeah. So,
I got to be honest. I mean, I'm a massive Vita fan. I bought, including my wife's, I've bought 4. I love it. I think it's great, but I think it's in big trouble.
4 systems?
Yeah, I lost one, so I replaced one of them. But then I have...
In case you lose another.
No, basically, I'm so lazy, I didn't want to do the account switching, so I bought a second one, and then I bought one for my wife. So, that's 3 too many, basically. But
yeah, I love that purchase. I never regretted it.
I love the machine. I love the games. It's kind of baffling when people say, there's no games for it, and I'm snowed under. There's so many things to play. But it's just in trouble. I mean... I would love it to sort of turn around, but even with the remote play, I just don't see it. I think it's in the
really?
and especially here, unless there's something massive coming at TGS, like specifically for the Japan, and that would just be to save it in Japan, like, you know, maybe Monster Hunter's out the way and they drop a hint about a Monster Hunter for Vita, which again I just can't see.
They've got that Sony game coming, right? That Sony Monster Hunter type.
But I mean, everything's getting. It's like, well, it's the Sony Monster Hunter, but it's not Monster Hunter, and I think that's the big problem.
Yeah. Poor man's version.
There's very few big hitters. I sort of still have hope that there'll be a decent GT, like be a GT Vita or whatever for.
You mean Gran Turismo?
Yeah, Gran Turismo. But even then, I can't see that saving it. It'll leak out in existence and it'll do okay, but it's getting its ass handed to itself in a high hat by the 3DS, and iOS isn't going anywhere. And
people love to say this. Do you think it's dead? Do you think it's failed?
I don't think
deem it.
Well, I don't think it's...
It's a 10-year plan, though, isn't it? Sony won't drop it.
Right.
I don't think they're going to drop it. I think they'd lose so much money by just saying, right, it's finished. They might as well throw a little bit more, trying to revive it and let it sort of trundle on. It's certainly way short of what they expected to sell, so in that sense, it's definitely a failure. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, it's like, as a gamer, I love it, but in the harsh sales reality is that it's just not
too
doing
expensive.
well. It's too confusing. When it came out, the price, when you remember, came out was hitting the same price, or roughly the same price as the 3DS, and then the 3DS had to drop. Mm-hmm. But then it was like the whole thing with the cards. If they just included a memory card, it would have saved so much bother. It was just stupid. I mean, they shot themselves in the foot.
I was quite surprised they didn't come out with a redesign and say, here's the new Vita, and it's got 16 gig built in, and it's $50 cheaper.
Yeah,
you know?
I don't know. I still think they need this Hail Mary brilliant game to come out of nowhere, and it's a very, very long shot, and I don't see it happening, unfortunately.
It'd be really nice if they didn't restrict the memory cards to a single region's profile.
Yeah.
It used to be that way at launch. I mean, I had my US and Japanese accounts on the same memory card, and then they blocked it. So it's a big hassle.
But, I mean, that doesn't really affect the common man.
Yeah, it affects us.
It affects us, yeah, because we're gamers, but like the regular person who plays a Vita game, then they don't buy stuff from the US or from Japan, you know?
I mean, they had it the right way to start with. I mean, they just did it to block us and cause us grief. There's no real reason for it.
I understand that. I don't think the Vita's dead.
I don't either. I mean, I think the biggest problem with Vita, not from a new game perspective, but just from like PlayStation 3 having very few games that support the remote play. To me, that was just, what are you thinking? I mean, you built it. Why aren't you making it supportable? and with PlayStation 4, I mean everything but what PSI, the PS4i, right? Everything but that is going to be supported.
Yeah.
But that's maybe
huge?
the value proposition for PS4 as well, though, to say, well, if you have a Vita, that's probably what they're thinking. Well, we can put it on PS3, but, I don't know. Maybe they thought PS Vita was going to do better and they didn't want to sort of tread on, I don't know. But it's certainly as a value-added thing for PS4.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. I mean, I'm not going to be upset about that. It's excellent, but I don't see many people rushing out to get a PS Vita just because it's got remote play. I just don't see it, unfortunately.
It's not a killer app.
Have you used remote play a lot, Martin?
No, not until PS4. I won't use remote play because it doesn't. Not a lot is supported.
It does improve Lair. It makes Lair a better game on the PSP. Yeah, it actually adds controls that I think they added them back into Lair on actually on the control level itself afterwards. But yeah, for a while I was playing it, via the PSP, and I was like, oh, this actually improves the game quite a bit. Right. But yeah, and then that's aside.
After the Vita, basically they still showed that the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation 3 isn't going anywhere this summer, this holiday season, I guess. Because they've got so many good games like Gran Turismo, like Beyond Two Souls, Diablo 3, God knows, they had so many PS3 titles. It was kind of unbelievable to think that. Yeah, I mean, this machine's been out for what, 7 years now?
Yeah.
Coming up to
I can't wait for Beyond Two Souls.
I know. It was funny because everyone was thinking, hang on, what happens at Beyond Two Souls? They were in a police station before being interrogated by Willem Dafoe, and now she's in Iraq or something, shooting everyone. It's like,
suddenly, you're in the military, and it's like, okay, not quite what I was expecting, but as long as they can keep up the narrative, they'll be okay, maybe.
Right, I'm really looking forward to it, so... Yeah, basically they showed that the PlayStation 3 is still really real strong and it's still swinging. It's it's a great machine. It's amazing that it took so long to get up and going. Originally with the high price and stuff. And,
and I think getting used to that architecture is it's starting to show the benefits now over the X360. But yeah, I mean, Gran Turismo just looked absolutely ridiculous. I know. Obviously, it's it's post-processed, replays, but it looks crazy. It looks absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it seems to have they've done a whole system overhaul on it. So
yeah, the user interface looks a lot more refined.
I wonder if it takes 12 years to install. I don't know. Anyways, right. So after the PlayStation 3 stuff, and then they showed, didn't show, but they mentioned that there was going to be a special bundle of Grand Theft Auto 5 with some nice headphones or headset. So that was cool. Then they basically unveiled the PS4 design. So what do you think?
It's a dodecahedron or a rhombus.
A rhombus, right? Yeah, so it's shaped like an eraser to erase the X1.
Yeah.
That was one of the memes on the internet. I don't know. It's quite funny. I actually like the design. It's different, right?
Yeah, it was a bit like the PS2 crossed with the X68000. It was really nice.
Yeah, I really like the look of it. I like the matte black, and then the shiny fingerprint magnet part. So that's nice.
They couldn't decide.
It looks a lot smaller than the X1. I mean, I don't know if that's just an optical illusion, but it looked a hell of a lot smaller.
63% smaller.
It is a lot smaller.
Wow.
63% smaller.
Jeez.
Which is nuts. I mean,
and more powerful.
And a lot more powerful. Apparently, the CPU is 50% more powerful. I've been told, but yeah, whatever. It's amazingly. I mean, the engineers, Sony engineers, and Microsoft engineers, hardware engineers. It's like men v boys.
It sounds like from the hypervisor talk and everything that Microsoft are talking about. They're going for a fast machine that does everything. So multimedia switching, etc., is going to be super fast. And Sony are just saying, right, we're just going to make a very fast games machine. I mean, that seems to be how I expect it to start boiling. Eventually, it'll boil down to that being one of the biggest difference between the two. So I've got a half expectation that the PS4 is going to be a little bit clunkier in the OS. I mean, that's completely unfounded. I don't know that with any certainty at all. But I expect the X360, the X1 to be very fast at switching between the various layers.
Yeah, but they've already proven that at the reveal.
No, that was all video. It wasn't live.
Well, yeah, I know that. If they would learn one of these days, but
they could have run it on a PC.
Ooh.
Well, it is practically a PC. So.
Yeah, so I like the design. I'm looking forward to.
I like the fact that this is the first time you're getting like same colors. They're both black. That's kind of nice.
Right. Yeah. 'Cause the
before it was white, white. and then Xbox went to black finally.
To fit in your entertainment
system. Some continuity there.
Cheesy? What did you think of the design?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's about to fall over, but you won't notice it when it's in your entertainment center.
Right. Are you going to stand it flat? Sorry.
Yeah, I have all my consoles flat. I don't stand any of them vertically. That's silly.
Yeah, that's pretty dangerous.
Yeah, I don't want stuff tipping over and scratching up discs.
Earthquake prone.
Well, yeah earthquake prone Japan in it, so it's like you're not going to stand them on their sides.
No, why would I do that? It just makes zero sense.
Never understood that.
Right, okay, so after unveiling the PS4 design, they went to the Order 1886. Wow,
that looked good.
This is by Ready at Dawn with partners of Sony Santa Monica.
Yeah, it's a steampunk Victorian era England.
Yes.
And you're fighting monsters.
Yes, apparently it's a third-person action game.
Yeah,
but you didn't see any of that. But that's what it was. If Sony did, I don't know if anyone noticed or watched that Sony did a lot of live streaming every day from their theater that they had, and they had like live demos, and then they spoke to the developers. It's like every day for like 8 hours, so like 3 days of like solid 8 hours of live streaming was pretty awesome. Just watching all of the games come through and the developers talking about it. Yeah, one of the guys from Ready at Dawn came on to talk about it, and he said it was a third-person action game. And yeah, and apparently that was running all in real time, so it wasn't CG. So
yeah, I mean, it depends on really the nature of the third-person action. If it's just a third-person shooter, then it's like ho hum. We've seen a billion of these. I mean, if it gets to be more on the level of a platformer or even an adventure game, like we've seen with something like Uncharted or Tomb Raider, then it might merit more attention. If it's just a hack and slash beat 'em up, then I don't know how interesting that'll be. But it remains to be seen. How did the footage look on that?
There's a lot of fog, so you couldn't really see much.
Well, what you saw at the trailer was that's all that they've shown. They haven't shown anything else.
Really?
It was pretty much like a ready, aim, fire in the fog.
So,
the future-looking weapons. But I do like the sort of alternate history.
Yeah, I
like that idea.
It's like, I don't know if you played Resistance on the PlayStation 3.
I played the demo, yeah.
Well, Resistance, they did an alternative timeline, and it was pretty cool. So
yeah, I'm a big fan of alternative history. I mean, you look at something like Inglourious Bastards, and you just get a big kick out of what might have been.
Yeah, it was very impressive, so I'm really looking forward to that. I mean, Ready at Dawn, they've done some amazing things with the PlayStation Portable with God of War. I mean, they pushed that so far with God of War on the PSP. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can actually do when they've got this amount of power, and they've got Santa Monica backing them up as well.
That's huge, yeah.
So
those are the people who are going to get the most out of the system.
Them and Naughty Dog, I think.
Right.
Whether or not Naughty Dog used that engine from PS3 is another thing. No, I'm not sure. And then basically they went on to basically give everyone an update on the 4 titles that they had announced in February, which was Killzone, Infamous, Knack, and Drive Club. So, out of those 4 games, anybody interested in any of those 4?
Not massively. I mean, Killzone 2, it was one of those games for 2 and a bit hours. I thought, this is really good, and then it sort of fell apart a bit. Killzone 3, I couldn't stand. So, I don't know, I still got my mind opened. Plus, the online for Killzone 2 was pretty good. So,
was pretty awesome as well.
I'm prepared to give it another shot. I mean, maybe going back for more punishment, but...
Wouldn't you just buy it for the eye candy because it looks gorgeous?
They always look great, really do. And Infamous, I really enjoyed Infamous 1. Infamous 2, I just didn't really get into for some reason.
Really?
And the footage of it looks pretty good, but we'll just see. We'll see how it pans out. But Knack, not really that bothered about. Drive Club's going to be interesting.
Knack reminds me of Crash Bandicoot, which is not yeah, because I mean Mark Cerny's behind it, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's probably why you get that feel of it. I'm not too sure if it looks like a PS4 title. It looks like just a shiny PS3 game. I don't know. You really couldn't tell from the trailers and stuff and the gameplay I saw that was on stage. It didn't really look anything spectacular. I think that they've got a hell of a long way to go before to make it look like a next gen platform, and it's kind of it's kind of disappointing. But I don't know. Mark Cerny's got a lot of pedigree, so I may have to just give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I'm certainly going to keep Knack on my radar because I'm a big platformer fan. So as a launch title, I mean, there's very little else that's going to interest me on launch day itself. Right. So I may wind up going with Knack for my launch game.
Okay, and then they showed Drive Club, which I think the cars look beautiful. The materials of the cars look amazing, but the actual roadsides, I don't know, doesn't look very good at all. Whoever they've got for doing their environments, their environmental artists aren't as up to it as their car artists. That they seem to be on a different level. Because I mean, the environments just didn't look interesting at all. And I don't know if anyone else noticed, but there seemed to be a lot of pop-up texture swapping and stuff like that. Is it just
could be a long way to go on this one, but then it's probably going to be due by the end of this year, right? It's a launch title, so.
Do you think they've already thrown them under the bus by saying you can have it for free, although be it's not the full game, it's like so many tracks and so many.
It's basically a demo.
It might be that it's it could be the opposite. It could be that it's a really good idea, and they think if people try it, they'll buy into it. It's hard to tell. I guess we'll see.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. What else did they show? The Dark Sorcerer. That was hilarious.
That was the biggest what the hell moment, because I was watching it and I was like, what is this? It looks nice, but oh god, is it going to be like Dungeon Keeper, which would be good, but I was like, god, this is terrible. And then just as I started really rolling my eyes, it cut. And I was like, well, what's going on?
Yeah,
what is going on? This is crazy.
It's great when they're not taking each other so seriously.
Yeah. And it was kind of like, well, I don't even know what the game's going to be. I don't know what
it's not a game.
It's not a game. It's a tech demo.
It was a long tech demo. I mean, it rendered human emotion really well.
I thought there was going to be some sort of Quantic Dream game behind it or something.
No, it's another demo like Kara.
Yeah.
Now I'm... Nah.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely beautiful to behold, but
yeah,
and I would like to see games, made out of Quantic Dream's demos, but
I want them to be able to just while it's playing, stop and just spin the camera around to say, this is in game, this is in engine. Check it. We can manipulate the camera. We can change colors. We can take his hair off or whatever. Yeah. I want them to do that to basically to show everyone. This
it's
is
real fun.
Yeah, show our technology, but I mean these these tech demos, they're kind of important though for devs because it shows them like the way to do things,
Yeah.
or a way not to
Late
do
in the
it.
development cycle, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're really important because it helps them, and what they learn through that they can also pass on to their partners and stuff. And no doubt they
They
will.
did kind of laugh at that too because it sounded like they were self-aware. Because that green little goblin dude, he said first time
First time
in a video game, welcome to hell, and it was almost like speaking to the developers, first time to develop a video game for our console. Welcome to hell. This is what we'll be able to do in the future. Evil grin.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. I think then after that, they came up on stage with all of the indies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was pretty impressive. The way they did it, they started off with what is it? Transistor, Supergiant Games, right?
Yeah.
And then they demoed that, and I think it looks beautiful. And then the way they transitioned all of the other indie devs into it, like each person was playing their game on a separate screen, and they showed like 15 seconds, and then they moved on to the next one, 15 seconds, and then I think at the end of it there was 9 indie devs on stage, showing their titles, and I thought that was really good. Just to have that mixture of like, here's a dev who puts millions and millions into a big budget title like Killzone, and here's a bunch of indie developers, who basically like quit their jobs to fulfill their dream of becoming a developer, and they've put everything into it. They've like remodeled their home and stuff. And
I love that drama.
They're all on stage and they're all next to each other, and apparently like a few days before, none of them knew each other, Yeah,
they're decloaking for the first time.
So like a few days ago, they didn't have any idea who anybody was, but yeah, just to have them on stage. And I think the funniest one was Octodad.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched that and I was like, what the hell is that? But I think that's a day one game for me because it's just so bizarre. It's just so messed up, and I'd like to try and play with it because apparently it's like that. Was it Co-op? Remember Co-op, the athlete where you had to control his limbs?
Yeah.
Oh God.
So,
That was rough.
It's like that, a lot easier. But yeah, so I'd like to watch that, and the story behind it sounds just completely crazy. So I mean, this is something I'd like to play. So yeah, so that was pretty cool.
Mercenary Kings looks pretty good. It didn't look like it belonged anywhere on the system, but it still looked fun.
Oh, it's a side-scrolling shooter, right?
That 4-player co-op indie game.
Yeah.
Looked kind of, I don't know what you thought. But look, I don't know if you've been playing games for 30 years, I still have a soft spot in my heart for these kind of games.
Oh yeah, me too. I was just happy to see them all on stage, and they were all different to each other as well. So yeah, including Abe's Odyssey as well. Was it New and Tasty? The new one? Yeah, I think it was. Yeah. So yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a cool showing. After that, I think they kicked off into Final Fantasy 15. Anybody?
Yes, I called it.
You called it?
No, I think it's probably one of the worst kept secrets in the entire industry that this had been renamed to 15.
Oh, really? Because I had no idea, probably because I don't care about Final Fantasy.
Everyone basically guessed it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. I've got no interest in Final Fantasy whatsoever, so...
Yeah, after Agito 13 was renamed to Type 0, basically everyone and their brother knew that Versus 13 was not going to remain under that title.
Okay. So did you start crying when they showed Kingdom Hearts 3?
I don't care about Kingdom Hearts at all.
Who's doing dishes?
Not me.
That's definitely not me.
Someone's doing dishes in the background. Who's Octodad? Have we got Octodad
Spinning
on?
plates.
Excellent. Anyways, yeah, so nobody started crying for Kingdom Hearts 3?
Nope.
I'm sure maybe like the Erics or somebody out there be crying to say something right now, but they're not here, so...
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, so yeah, he's not here to back himself up.
We're not represented well today, I don't know.
Nope, he's not. Okay, so then, they came out with there's no DRM confirmed, which is quite funny. And they basically threw lightning bolts at Microsoft.
That will go down in history as one of the greatest non-gaming gaming moments.
I was where were you watching this? Were you at home?
Yeah,
Everybody watching this live?
Yeah.
absolutely.
I was in hospital watching this, and I was literally laughing with almost tears in my eyes because it was funny. And,
Yeah.
yeah. So I just didn't expect them to come out like that, like swinging, because Sony very rarely do. You know, when they know they've got something that's better than something else, they never really push it. But this time they just dropped everything, and Jack Trenton just came out, and
I'm surprised during the rehearsal that because they go through this whole thing, don't they? In the rehearsal, I'm surprised some didn't get the Microsoft or something that they were going to do this, and some last minute maneuvering. I really wish there was something like that, even more to it. But yeah, they slammed them.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. So it's you can take your anybody remember what he says? He said no online checks. You can rent, you can borrow, you can give to your friends, or you can keep it forever, or something like that, right?
Yeah. All in a nice, neat list.
Yeah, in a nice,
Nice of them to be clear about it, unlike some companies we know.
Yeah. It was funny though, because that slide looked like it had just been done 10 minutes before.
Right. It was just like a disc.
Yeah,
and it
there
said
was no
disc-based
branding or
games,
nothing
trade
on
in, or here it is, trade in games at rental, sell it to another person, lend it to a friend, or keep it forever.
Yeah, but if you look at it, there's no branding on it either.
No, it was just a disc with a blue border.
So someone just threw that together in 10 minutes and threw it on. So.
Probably from the Microsoft templates. That would be such a burn.
Excellent. So they did that. So I really enjoyed that. And then they came with the price. I think Andrew House came back on, right, and introduced the price at $399. So at $399, are you guys happy?
Double flawless victory, ultra combo.
Yeah.
Is this a price you're happy with?
Yeah, I mean yes. I mean it's more
Lost
powerful
for words.
hardware than the alternative console. It's I mean, to be honest, the games are a bit of a wash at the moment. But yeah, it's they made all the right moves, and it's cheaper. And for us, it's probably going to launch before. So I just don't see. I'm much more likely to buy a PS4 than an X1. It's not even debatable.
No.
Are you debating both?
I'm saying no. I'm saying that I probably won't get an X1, but I think when it comes to it, I probably will end up getting an X1.
That's what I like to see. Self-awareness there.
However,
No.
I don't know. It depends what happens. I mean, again, if everything's going to be going PC as well, that my next PC is going to be much more powerful than the X1.
By then, right.
So, I mean, I'd be buying a PS4
Can't really
for
compare a
exclusives as
PC
well.
to a PlayStation 4. A PlayStation 4 is only $400. Try and find anything that stands anywhere near it for $400 and come back to me.
Well, that's true, but that even
what I
so,
mean?
it's the reality is I will have a PC that crushes the pair of them. So for third-party games,
no doubt. But how much are you going to spend on a PC that crushes it? Like $2,000?
yeah, but that's beside the point. I'm still going to have that PC.
Right.
I understand what you're saying, but
Right.
that isn't a choice that I have to make. It's not like I'm choosing between a $400 console and a $200 PC. I need a $2,000 PC to do other stuff.
You're going to say, what the hell?
Yeah, this isn't a right. I'm going to buy a $2,000 gaming only PC.
And then stop console gaming altogether. You're not doing that.
No.
Right.
Octo Gamer, every console, every handheld.
So, Steven, $399. Are you going
Yes.
to pick one up for $399?
Oh, yeah,
In
most
Japan
definitely.
or the US?
That's a question I guess I should better ask you guys, because, I mean, I've watched the keynote, but after all the keynotes, I haven't really followed it too much. Is there any additional information that would sway you otherwise?
I've already pre-ordered mine on Amazon.
I'm going to buy mine at the register with cash in hand.
Yeah,
It's kind of the style.
Apparently, I got a day one console, which they said it'll be with me on launch date, but I don't think it'll be in Japan on launch date.
Don't you think you were going to cancel that and just get it here?
Well, no, because they haven't give us a date.
What about historically?
The
What are we
US
looking at?
console plays Blu-rays from the US and Japan because it's the same region.
Ah, right.
So that's no
There's
problem.
that extra bonus.
There's no problem with it's region free, which they've said. So yeah, so I pre-ordered it on Amazon along with Killzone and Knack, and they said it's a day one purchase. So
You said, you're getting Killzone? That surprises me. I wouldn't pick you as
I want something pretty. I want something to be able to get the Kleenex out and pull my pants down and go, yeah, look at this. I think I deserve that. Yeah. So no, I pre-ordered it. So
what do you recommend? You recommend the English version? I mean, the American version?
Well,
North American.
I really don't know until they release a price in Japan and a release date. And the way things are going, I'm not sure if it'll come out this year in Japan. Mainly because, show me how many Japanese games that were shown.
And plus with PlayStation Plus.
But then again, with the... I mean, obviously
you have to pay.
There's TGS coming up, so they might have something. But PS3 didn't really launch with that many Japanese... It wasn't a Japanese-heavy launch, if I remember rightly, right? We had...
Yeah.
You know, it was Resistance and... what was it? I can remember all the bad games, like the Sega Golf game and... Lair, and yeah, it wasn't a particularly strong Japanese launch lineup. So I'm sure Sony have probably got Mingol lying around recompiled for the PS4, and they probably need another game, and they might throw it out. But I have heard other people talking about quarter one, who I would expect to know. So maybe quarter one is the way it's going.
I would think so as well, because you know how pretty crap Japanese developers are with next gen hardware. I mean, look how long it took them to get to grips with the PlayStation 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Although maybe they've made the decision on stuff like Last Guardian and moved that a long time ago. We'll have to see.
Well, Japanese launch titles was Blast Factor.
Yeah.
Yeah. A Gundam game.
I bought that.
Ridge Racer 7.
Which was good.
The Sega Golf game.
Which was awful.
Resistance.
Which was good. I mean, but the split is basically...
And
Genji.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a great lineup.
No, it was terrible.
Wasn't there was one more, the Mahjong Fight Club, right?
Was it?
I think so.
Oh, you probably bought that.
I did. I bought every game.
Yeah, you're in a nutcase.
But Mahjong Fight Club is good. Just putting it out there.
Okay. I'll give it to you then. Okay. Now I bought Ridge Racer 7 and Resistance. They were my launch titles I bought when I bought my 60 gig model. Yeah, so no, I've gone with the US one, mainly because, as I just said, I don't think there's anything. The Japanese one won't be out till next year. I really don't. Just because the PlayStation, the Japanese developers are just really slow. The Japanese market seems to be, well, it's all handheld now, and all of developers are pretty much focused on handheld titles. They don't seem to be. Well, there's only a few development houses that seem to put like a massive budget into these titles, like Square Enix and stuff. With the Final Fantasy and that. The rest of them don't really put a lot of money into it. So
maybe Capcom and Konami.
Yeah, but I don't think they'll have anything for launch unless there's a Ridge Racer floating around we don't know of.
Yeah.
Or maybe PES, but I don't think PES is ready. Or will be ready anyway. So, yeah, I really don't think the PS4 will launch in Japan this year.
Yeah, it's that uncertainty about the release date that made me pre-order a US unit from Amazon. So.
Oh, you did as well? You did the same thing as me, huh?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if it gets announced for the same time in Japan, then I can just cancel or whatever.
The thing is, though, the Amazon, they don't take your money until they ship it.
No, and I've got my standard edition upgraded to a launch edition. So
yeah, me too. Does that mean that we get it on launch day?
Well, it means that
They ship it launch day.
if we lived in America, we would get it delivered on launch day. But since we don't, I think we'll get it a couple days later.
Because I upgraded mine to 2 to 4 days shipping.
Right? Yeah, I think we'll see it. In
What does that
2 to 4
run
days.
you? What does that cost?
It was free.
Oh, snap.
If you're on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can go on Amazon Prime for one item and then come off it again.
Yeah, for me, it's going to run like $40 for shipping, so it's not terrible.
Yeah, and you also get your customs tax refunded, apparently.
Is there customs tax on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like... So what did you buy with it? With your pre-order?
Nothing, just the system.
Just the system. Okay, I got Knack and Killzone.
Yeah. If I'll decide later what games I want to get with it.
You've already got PlayStation Plus, right?
No.
Oh. So
You will soon.
Yeah, probably.
You will
The
soon
major
get-
differentiating
You'll-
factor
you'll need
have
it
now
if you wanna play
erased that
multiplayer.
line.
So actually, what do you think of that? The PS Plus is required for multiplayer.
Seemed like a good time.
You could see that one coming.
I think there's a lot of people who are basically ready to buy it, but they have been putting out, and then they're going to now begrudgingly get it, but they're going to be there's plenty of value there.
I mean, the service is already amazing. Anyway, you get 18 free games a year, and now it works on your PlayStation 3, your Vita, and now your PlayStation 4.
It's not a big deal.
Sorry?
It's not a big deal,
What do you mean?
given that
It's
we don't have to
huge.
deal with the DRM nonsense.
Say again?
Yeah, in comparison to that, having to pay for that isn't a bad thing.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, that's no comparison.
No comparison, right? So you don't mind paying the PlayStation Plus fee to play multiplayer?
Yeah, I mean, if there are multiplayer games that I want to play online, then yeah, there should be sufficient value there.
And you're going to be able to, you just pay it, and you can have as many people utilizing that on a single console, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, because I know that Xbox One, that's what they're doing this time, which is kind of going to mitigate some of the pricing there. I just wanted to make sure they were the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because for my brother and his father, my brother and his son, same thing. They won't have to pay for 2 accounts now.
No, you don't have to. No, you pay for one PlayStation Plus and it works across
No
everything.
advantage between the two really there.
So, yeah. No, but that's the way it was with PlayStation 3.
Right.
So, no difference.
They're just playing, Microsoft is playing catch up in that regard.
Well, yeah, Microsoft decided to give you some free games as well, but it finishes in November or whenever the X1 launches.
Yeah, you get Halo 3 and Fable 3.
Yeah, and there's so many people who probably have one of them. So you're looking at one.
Halo 3 and Assassin's Creed 2, I believe.
Oh, was it Assassin's Creed 2, not Fable 3? Okay.
Yeah.
Halo 3 has come and go too. It's not really relevant.
So yeah, but that stops in November. So it's not really a comparison, really.
No.
On
'Cause
PS Plus, you get a
constant.
handful of games every month, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just got just for comparison, I just got Uncharted 3 for free, XCOM, Sleeping Dogs, DSX 2, all for free. I mean, yeah, these are pretty. I mean, they're not new games. I mean, okay, the newest one, which was Sleeping Dogs, that's like 4 months old now, but yeah, it's still a pretty good deal.
Now, just to clarify that you can use them for a limited time only, right?
Which?
The PS Plus games.
No, you can use them as long as you got PS Plus.
As long as you're a subscriber. But once you cancel your subscription, you lose
it's like
access.
a rental, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I mean, if you got it for a year, you pay it for a year. You got them for a year. If you carry on with it, you still keep them. So no problem at all. I mean, the service is so good. There's no reason whatsoever to debate getting it.
Yeah.
Such a great service, especially with the discounts. I mean, the Japanese PSN and the US PSN and European PSN, the light and day. The Japanese one compared to the US and European one is terrible. So I'm hoping the Japanese one catches up. But I don't know. I doubt it. But yeah, I'm a PS
So
Plus
Martin, just to be clear, when your membership lapses, so that you lose that if that ever happens.
Well, you're not able to play them, but if you then sign back up again,
it wakes them up again.
yeah, it allows you to play them again.
Oh, that's good.
Because
Cool.
everything just stays in your download queue, what you've already downloaded.
Right.
So basically,
It doesn't purge the drive or anything like that.
No. They're
Yeah.
still there. It just says, like, pay up, basically.
Right.
So if you're a new subscriber, though, do you get access to all the old ones that they presented?
Well, if you're a new subscriber, you'll just get what is available.
Right. They come and go.
They come and go because they're constantly swapping.
You have to
them out.
download them.
They're swapping them
while
out. I
they're
mean, the
there.
thing is, you could get it now
Mm-hmm.
and just click on stuff that you want, but don't actually just download it. You
Throw
don't
'em in the
actually have to
queue.
Download it. Just put it in your queue. And
But what I'm saying is, all of the titles that they presented with that in the past, have those like expired or those no longer available?
yeah, some of them disappear for good because they're swapping them in with new titles.
Okay, so there's at any given time there's a set of games that are available.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. I mean,
all right.
when I got the PS Plus when it started with the Vita, you got like Wipeout, Uncharted,
Mm-hmm.
and some other games. Yeah, basically, it was
Okay.
a Gravity Rush or Days, is what they say in the States. But yeah, I mean, it's great. If you haven't got it, you should have it. And I was quite surprised. I was just scrolling down my PlayStation friends list today, and the amount of people who don't have it is like, wow, really? But I see them, they're constantly playing games, but they don't have PlayStation Plus, which kind of makes me scratch my head. It's like, don't they want...
People might just be in a situation where they got plenty of games already. They don't need any more. They've got a big queue of games, and
Yeah, that's why I don't have it.
I mean, I'm almost always in that situation.
Hang on.
Backlog.
Get off the bus. What did DC just say?
I don't have it.
Why?
Well, I just haven't really got around to it. I mean, actually, I think I might have it on the UK, which I have hardly ever used. So I've got a UK, Japanese, and a US. But yeah, I mean, when I saw what was available, it was like stuff I already owned. So it was like, well, there's no real point. So I never bothered. Even when it went to Vita, I bought everything that was on there. So. Yeah, I mean, I'll get it eventually. Well, it doesn't sound like I've got much choice with the PS4, but yeah, I just didn't. That's it, basically. I just haven't bothered with it.
Fair enough.
But I do agree that it's a great value service. I mean, especially when you compare what you get for the cash to what you get elsewhere. It's a really, really huge value add. So I think that's why a lot of people aren't going to have any issue with it once it becomes a mandatory thing for playing online, because you get so much. I mean, you get Drive Club at launch, or some version of it at launch of a PS4. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, and you get some 3 indie games as well over a space of time as well.
Yeah.
So,
Great for indie. I'd like to support that as well.
yeah, it's good. It's nice. I'm really happy with it. And so yeah, okay. So let's move on. I was quite disappointed that Gaikai is not going to be launching with the machine. They said
Yeah,
it's gonna
several
be
months in 2014. What is that?
2014. The thing is, I was kind of happy about was that they will, when they get their service up and running, they will have the ability to stream PS3 games onto your PS4.
But at a price, right?
Yeah, I guess
You're gonna have to go back and buy those, probably at reduced prices. But I don't know, that was one of those things that I looked at and go, if I already own these games, that just rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah,
I don't know. How do you feel about
hang on,
that?
But if you've already got those games on, like you've got them on digital anyway, would you have to pay for them again?
That's what I've seen. In terms of like both neither Xbox One or PlayStation 4 have the obviously backwards compatibility, and then when it comes down to the slight difference, it's you can stream those, but you're still paying for them later. Is how I read that.
No.
Anybody else heard the same?
No, not sure. Not sure.
I think it's going to be at a reduced price, but they're still going to make you cough up something for it. If it was free, that would be amazing.
I can't see them asking you to pay for something you've already digitally bought on a PlayStation 3. But I guess they could. I don't know. Anyway,
if you're right, that would be great.
No, I think you're going to wind up paying for the streaming service. They'll keep track of what licenses you have, but Yeah,
And that'll probably come in PS Plus. So
I don't know if it's going to be included. I mean, it might be an option.
PS Plus Plus.
well, PS Plus, I think that a lot of the money that they're getting from the PS Plus members is probably going towards Gaikai to fund it.
I don't know. I wouldn't hold my breath.
No? Okay. So, let's get onto the closing game was Destiny. Steven.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Oh my god! Pants! Throw away the pants! Burn all the pants!
Your pants were burned?
Burned them all. It was like the great Nazi burning of the books. I burned all my pants. Oh yeah.
What a smell!
I'm really excited because I did not know that they were. It seems like they're pushing hard with the PlayStation 3, and I've watched every single interview with any of the Bungie people, and they're not saying it, but the body language shows that they're pushing with the PlayStation 3. It looks like it's going to be the preferred console, and I'm perfectly fine. I'll follow Bungie to anything.
Nintendo
Wii, anything. So I'm totally cool going that way. And I think other people, if it looks like that's going to be the better choice.
What impressed you most?
What are you talking about? In regards to the PlayStation or just the game itself?
The actual game itself, the vision.
Well, for me, this whole always online issue. I talked with I talked about this with Cheesy when we went to Akihabara, but we were talking about what could be the perceived benefits of always online. And to me, watching the public event take place where you have your little fire team of people and you walking into this area and you can seamlessly merge with other people and you can fight off this big boss together. And then you can walk out of that space seamlessly, and then you're out of this public event. And I've learned that you'll be able to have the choice of doing this. If you're like, you don't want to do that, and you can bypass that.
Right.
But having that, I think to me, that's sort of new, that type of play style. And really, it's not the idea, it's the execution to me. I mean, some people can compare it to Mass Effect. Some people are comparing it to Borderlands. But to me, it boils down to how well it's executed. And I think Bungie has always been really good at that. And I think it shows that just the mere fact that Jason Jones came out. He's one of those guys who's just always hidden away from the spotlight. But he'd been working on this, I think, since Halo 2 launched, that's like 7 years. They've been iterating with this, and so it looks like it's really ambitious, and everything I've seen looked really good. Looked gorgeous. Of course, I want more from it, but what I've seen, I like. I mean, there wasn't a lot of interaction with the environments. The actual game, the actual shooting, the gameplay looked kind of simple, but
it looked very Halo, didn't it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, that of course it will. Yeah, that's going to be there. But the persistent online, and that they're using our real universe. You know, that it's Earth and it's not some place far off away that we have no concept of. They're going to be using our real universe and the planets around us, and going to those different spaces, and seeing how big they're populating the areas. Like even the area that we've shown, there's a lot of other places you'll be able to visit in that area.
Yeah,
but
they said basically what you can see, you can go to.
Right, what you can see, you can go to. But I'm very kind of curious about these public events. So like when we saw those towers collapsing in the background. I mean, if you do that public event and you've seen those towers collapse, when you go back there, those towers going to be there and they're going to collapse again. Or there's a lot of questions that haven't really been answered yet. So,
I'm pretty. I mean, I think. Well, yeah, I guess we'll see when.
Yeah, it's 12. It was a long demonstration, which was like way more than I expected. I was really happy to see him and like Joe Staten just going crazy up there, giddy.
Right. So
I don't know. What about you guys?
Yeah, Elliot. Elliot. What? Yeah. Okay. DC.
Yeah, I thought it looked good. I'm all up for it. That's. I mean, like you say, it's like the melding of part Borderlands, part Halo, and I don't think I'm quite as excited as a few other people about it, but it's definitely one I'm going to be keeping my eye on for sure.
Okay, so overall, how was Sony's press conference for you guys?
I mean, they dropped a house on Microsoft, basically. That was...
Ding dong, the witch is dead. Yeah,
it was just...
So Major Nelson wears red shoes.
Major Nelson's a good guy. I wouldn't blame it on him. I like him. I would aim. Someone else has got red shoes, not him.
I have to wonder whose fault it is, really.
Don Matrix.
You think it's Matrix's fault?
Yeah, floppy hair. It's got a
It may be just something institutionally wrong there. I mean, they seem to be going in the right direction. Xbox One, then X360 seemed to be going fine until about 2 or 3 years ago when they just started making really strange decisions. It's like, I don't know, maybe they just got rid of everyone who had any idea about what they were doing and replaced them with... It feels like they replaced them with businessmen, and I'm sure a lot of this... the DRM stuff sounds great to people from a business side, but obviously when it's then presented to gamers and they barf everywhere, it backfires horribly.
Everyone retched in their mouth and in their
I mean, it's like, if they don't, that's what I can't understand. Maybe they did. They surely would have had someone said, right, is this a good idea? And someone somewhere surely must have said, that's not going to go down too well.
I can just imagine those, the top executives, they're giving these interviews, and they're obviously talking out of the cuff, and you've got PR marketing on the handlers on the side trying to, like, mad dog stop what they're doing, like, halfway in sentence. Like, what are you saying? It just doesn't make sense.
Okay, let's compare the controllers. Also.
Yeah.
So, the 360, the X1 had 40 new innovations.
What are they?
Name them alphabetically.
Yeah, come on, we've yet to see that list.
It's got rumble in triggers.
And?
Well, that's pretty good. I'm kind of interested in that.
Where the battery compartment goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The buttons have been moved. It's got a better D-pad. Because the D-pad was awful.
Yeah, the D-pad's pretty awful.
Right.
The D-pad was only fixed because Nintendo's patent expired, right?
Yes. Because that's gone now. But then you've got the PS4 controller. And I've heard a lot of people who said my preferred controller of this current generation was Xbox 360's controller.
Oh, really?
But now, after holding the new Sony controller, the PS4 controller, the preferred controller is the PS4 controller.
So people who originally preferred the Xbox.
Yes.
Wow. How many times have you heard that? Not just a few.
I've heard that quite a lot with quite a lot of people I know who attended E3.
Okay.
The only concern I've got is the placing of the thumbsticks. I mean, it'd be nicer if
you want them offset, right?
Yeah, I want them offset.
Right.
I always feel. I mean, it's it's not the end of the world. I can get used to any controller, but I feel very at ease with the Xbox layout.
Right.
I think the size and making it smaller overall is kind of worrisome.
Of the 360,
yeah, for the Xbox One controller.
You're doing it as well now.
You're just so comfortable with that. I mean, I love the fact that it sounds like. For me, the biggest problem with the current Xbox controller is that the analog sticks, the covering just wears out. I mean, I'm probably, I don't know, I use it more than, I think I use it more than anybody, and I've gone through 4 controllers where the top just wears out, and then it's just slippery butter. So it looks like they've addressed that this time. I mean, you can go online and buy those and for a couple hundred yen and put them on, but
that's $240 in controllers you've been through.
I play a lot. I mean, a lot of controllers. I mean, have you made it through an entire development cycle with your preferred console with a single controller?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm still using my original NES controllers.
Yeah, but you're not utilizing them the same way. It's much more rigorous with current gen. I mean, I can tell that I move forward because that's where it wears off, and just how you utilize it. You can see the wear points, and
I've never
Nintendo
worn
is
out
pretty
a
easy.
controller mid-generation.
Yeah. You obviously haven't played much Xbox then.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. I think you're giving yourself away.
So you like the look of the PS4 controller then, Steve?
Yeah, it looks real slick. I like the coloring for the buttons, and
I like it seems to have 2 textures.
yeah, Yeah, absolutely. Kind of like a gun handles.
No, the actual grip of it, the underside of the controller seems to be a different texture or material. So,
Yeah, we'll find out TGS.
yeah, if I can afford to go.
Work something out.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. Or if I'm not dead, I don't know.
Oh, shut up.
I've got another operation next month on the 4th of July.
Yeah, but the worst,
as well.
biggest one was over.
No, this one's pretty big as well, dude.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, what are you talking about?
I got another operation. I got kidneys failing on me.
I'm just going to have to go RoboCop on you.
Yeah, I know.
The RoboCop way.
Got 2.
And you can get a new job, too, just all in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
Save the city.
I'd like that. I'd like that. Anyways, yeah. So let's crack on to Nintendo. I'm gonna let Cheesy go with this one because he's our Nintendo freak, game fan. I don't know.
No, I wouldn't say that.
No,
I
Okay.
would. Go ahead.
I'm the Sony guy. Steven and DC are the Microsoft dudes, and Cheesy is Nintendo.
We're the Microsoft and Vita dudes.
Yes. So, Mr. Nintendo.
Oh, come on.
Yamauchi.
Go on.
He's really Yamauchi, who learned how to speak English.
Come on, Mr.
What?
Iwata.
No, not even.
No? You got floppy
107.
hair.
So let's see, Nintendo's press conference. Well, it wasn't a press conference. It was actually just a Nintendo Direct. They had a couple of smaller events for their distributors and for the Western media, which were much more low key. So
This
as far
was
as
live stream,
the
right? This was live stream, right? It was a Nintendo Direct.
it wasn't live streamed, it was pre-recorded.
Okay, pre-recorded, but it was on Ustream, right?
Yeah.
And that was my problem because I
Yeah.
couldn't watch it because it just kept dying all the time.
And then they would send you one to
Right.
come to our European streams, and then that died.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was having problems, with the video feed as well. I mean, it kept on freezing and then jumping ahead several minutes. So
It was unacceptable. It was unwatchable.
I don't think they were prepared for the amount of traffic that they were going to get.
Yeah,
for E3.
E3 numbers, they should have known better.
Well, they should have well known about that. I mean,
Sure.
that's something that's going to be obvious because they're not there. There's no press conference at E3, so therefore everybody who's a Nintendo
Everyone's
fan
watching.
and
A lot of people in the time room were just like, I quit, I'll watch this later.
Yeah, I ended up doing it as well because I couldn't watch it because it just stopped. And I was like I had looked through 4 different types of streams and I didn't get it. So I was
Yeah, I had to rewatch it afterwards. So.
Right. So I mean that's my problem with PlayStation 4 going with Ustream because the infrastructure just isn't there for high load.
Yeah, there might be some growing pains with the streaming services, but anyway,
I hope they fix it because have you seen the pricing structure and model for Ustream?
I have no idea.
It's huge. If you want to pay money and get some of the like say for instance it says let me
Commercial account, kind of.
commercial accounts and stuff like it's like $500 a month and stuff like that.
It's probably really cheap for Nintendo.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm talking about like for us.
For us, yeah, that would be way too much.
If that was to happen, but yeah.
It was just it was ridiculous. So
Yeah. So anyway, as far as what Nintendo covered in its E3 Direct, they started with Pokemon X and Y. They showed some gameplay of that.
is it out this year?
It's out on October 12th worldwide.
Yeah, I don't think I'm even interested anymore.
Yeah, I've never been into Pokemon, but they finally have 3D models animated doing their attacks, so it's like the bare minimum standard for any sort of combat game for the past 15 years is finally being met by Pokemon.
Right. Pokemon.
So.
My daughter's just got into Pokemon, so she's yeah. Every time she sees the iPad, Daddy, can I watch Pokemon?
Oh, the anime?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
she's into the Pokemon now. She's actually started buying cards so she can go to the arcade.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, Oh no.
So after that, we saw Super Mario 3D World on the Wii U.
Woohoo! And it looked really nice. It looked like 3D World.
Super Mario 3D Land on the
3D
3DS.
Land, yes, on the 3DS.
But this one's on the Wii U, and
the Wii U, yeah.
it's clearly reutilizing the same game engine, except this time you've got 4-player simultaneous co-op with Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Princess Toadstool.
And you've got a cat suit as well, right?
Yeah, you've got a cat power-up if you grab a bell item.
Yeah.
So you're able to, like, scramble up walls and pounce on enemies. And
what's with free 1-ups, though? Because you can literally climb the
flagpole.
The flagpole to get free 1-ups. That's
a little cheap in my opinion, but okay, it's cute. It's like, oh yeah, cats can climb up trees. Ha ha ha.
But,
I mean,
a flagpole?
The Mario games have long been giving out 1-ups like candy, and there's really no game over state, basically. So, that's a design decision to make players feel better about, their gameplay experience. They like to have positive affirmation.
So,
whereas I know gamers like us might want more of a challenge.
I'm okay with it with Mario. It's a weird thing that, well, I guess I just have. When I play Mario, it's nice to have the challenge, but it's also nice to just play around, find new ways to do stuff, get the 1-ups. It's much more about that than the challenge, really. I mean, I'm playing through the Wii U game now with my son, and it's just a bundle of fun. So that's how I look at it, and I thought this looked really, really good.
Yeah.
And is exactly the reason I ended up getting a Wii U, because I knew this was the sort of game that would come. I wasn't really interested in it.
Right.
Now we're slowly starting to get the delivery, and this looks great.
So is this a 2013 game?
This is the end of the year, isn't it?
Yeah, end of the year this year.
Oh, okay. Too bad it's going to be busy buying other stuff, though.
Right, that's what I felt immediately.
Going up against new consoles?
That's a wall of impossibility. If you haven't bought it yet, that is to say.
Well, I mean, by then, Scott Moffat said that they're not dropping the Wii U price, but we'll see if that holds up for the rest of the year. I don't know.
Oh, so you think there's a possibility of a price drop?
I don't know. I have no idea.
If you're placing bets at Vegas, what do you say?
If I were a betting man, I
have to. It's $50 between a Wii U and a PS4.
Yeah,
that's
it depends. Though, they might gamble, though, especially in Japan, that they're going to be. They might be. You might be saying, well, in America, there's nothing we can do, and Nintendo fans will still buy the Nintendo games, and in Japan, there's no PS4 or X1, and we've got our big releases coming up. So why drop it? Going into Christmas with big releases coming, let's drop it in the start of the next year.
Yeah,
I think they might do that.
Yeah, we'll see when the new consoles arrive in Japan. But if Nintendo has Japan all to itself this end of the year sales season, they might be able to clean up.
End of the year sales battle.
Well, at the moment, they're only shipping like 5,000 units a week, right?
Yeah, software still hasn't been delivered. We won't see Pikmin until what?
Why the hell did they release it so early when they honestly knew that
they couldn't miss the last holiday season.
Sorry?
They couldn't miss the last holiday season. They had to get
they have no games?
Yeah, we're going to see the games this fall. It's been a long wait.
Without the first-party games, you're never going to get third-party, because without the install base, you're never going to attract anyone to develop for your platform. So it's really strange that they come out of the door with nothing.
I think it wasn't so much that. It was the second phase. The second phase wasn't just, it took a long time to come, and then we got the game in Wario, which, I was actually, I like those games. I followed that series, and it was just so awful. It was out the door within a couple of days. It was just ridiculously bad. And then now there's another long wait, and it's, I don't know, but eventually the promise is going to start coming at the end of this year, like you said. But I agree with Cheesy. They had to get it out last year. I think pushing in now, even if they'd had the games, would have been a hard sell.
Yeah,
I think it would have been. At least it's out there, and
The next spring, we're going to get Mario Kart 8, featuring hovercraft.
2004. 14 minutes. 14.
2014.
Brain's not working.
They'll have hovercrafts and Mebius loops. It's basically F-Zero.
Look like Wipeout.
Look like Stunt Driver. It's like riding the walls.
The thing I didn't like about it, though, there's no sense of speed. I don't think it looked fast at all.
No?
Even with the flames coming out?
Come on. Flames. No, I don't think it looked fast at all. I don't think the camera's right. The camera doesn't look right either, especially...
Well, half the video was just camera. It was like in camera mode.
No, the camera doesn't move right when you're behind the car and you start going up the wall.
We didn't see a whole lot of behind the cart camera. Like gameplay.
From what I've seen, it doesn't look right at all.
Well, it was a trailer.
Yeah, I mean, until you get extended.
No, I mean, I've watched videos from the show floor.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look right. The camera just doesn't seem to...
Do you think it does a good job at showing off the, graphical flair?
Oh, it looks beautiful. It's
okay. I just wanted to make sure you weren't a naysayer.
The best looking Wii U games I've seen. It looks beautiful. I'm going to buy it day one, no doubt about it.
Yeah, 7 was amazing.
It's a day one purchase for me. But
I loved that game. It was probably the online was incredible.
Yeah, so I'm really excited for it. But this is something we knew was coming.
Yeah,
this is not a surprise.
To me, it's just like there's no reason to buy it now until 2014, as far as I'm concerned.
No, there's no reason whatsoever.
If you missed it, the launch.
And if you still think that cloud computing is something that's exclusive to the Xbox One, Mario Kart 8 will have asynchronous competition.
Go on.
So basically, if I understood this correctly, you'll be able to upload your ghosts to a server, and other players will be able to race against you.
Oh my god, mind blown.
Yeah, it's basically sharing save data. Imagine that.
Yeah, but no, this is a day one for me.
Yeah.
In next year.
Can't wait. That'll be the day I buy the Wii U.
Really? You're waiting for Mario Kart 8 as your killer app?
Yeah.
It was.
I mean,
I guess.
What else are you pushing on me? What else is there?
Yeah. There's not much else.
I'm just curious, like what if you're in a sales store and you were at your hair slicked back working for commission, what would you tell me?
You could always say Bayonetta's cut her hair short.
This is true. Bayonetta does have shorter hair now.
Walking out the door.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if that was the best way to present Bayonetta 2, which was later in the presentation, but yeah, that was the big thing.
It looks good.
Carry on. Sorry, Cheesy, for derailing it.
Yeah, it's okay. So she has a wildly different hairstyle and costume compared to the original. The action's been powered up, and it's coming next year.
I missed that one. When? Next year?
Next year, yeah.
I thought that this was the...
Takes a long time to make new costumes and hair.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, next year.
Jesus.
But do we even know when?
No.
Right, exactly.
No.
Isn't this terrible? I think we talked about, the 3DS so long ago about just not having games to get people to buy it after launch. It's their biggest problem.
Now the 3DS has plenty of games.
Now they do. Now it's fine. Yeah, but they're repeating the same thing.
Yeah, so
I can't believe
we'll see some sort of turnaround with the Wii U as well.
Goodness. Okay.
Yeah. So after Mario Kart 8, they showed...
So, I mean, it could come out before Mario Kart, right? Or is that no? If they don't even do a
said
at a quarter,
2014, and they didn't say spring.
They didn't say, right.
Yeah, Mario Kart is spring.
So they have no idea.
So it means they have no concept.
Sometime next year, lads. All right.
So after Mario Kart 8, we saw Wii Party U and Wii Fit U both delayed to later in the year.
Fantastic.
Shouldn't this be called the delay station?
I don't know.
I think it should be. Everything's delayed next year.
Then we saw Art Academy for Wii U, downloadable. You'll be able to post your drawings to Miiverse, which will expand the black and white drawings that we have currently.
Are they still not going social yet and putting it on Facebook or Twitter? No?
What do you mean?
With the drawings and stuff, being able to, instead of just showing them on your Nintendo timeline, instead of showing it just there.
Oh, yeah. Actually, there was a recent update to the PC interface for Miiverse that allows you to cross-post to other social networking services.
Okay.
So you can click on a button, one of several buttons on any Miiverse post and cross-post it to your other account.
Right. Okay. Righty. Okay, next.
After that, we saw The Wind Waker, which will be running in 1080p.
Okay, I expect nothing less because it's a port.
Right. And instead of having the GBA Tingle Tuner, this time there will be a Tingle Bottle, which will allow you to send messages in bottles to other users.
Zelda spinning the bottle out.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's coming in Japan on September 26th.
Oh, it's this year, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Wee-hee. Finally something to play. Oh, wait.
I'm not going to troll.
I ain't buying this.
Yeah.
Are you going to pick this up?
Maybe. I mean, I already have 2 copies of that game.
Okay, so that's a no then.
I got the American and Japanese versions on the
Apparently
GameCube.
Apparently they're addressing some of the controls though, right? I heard from stuff from E3 that they're addressing some of the controls, like the grapple hook and stuff like that.
Yeah, I haven't been paying attention, but I heard that there was going to be some tweaks and some dungeon changes or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird. I mean, I really liked Wind Waker, but I was kind of like, well, I'm not going to play it again. But you know what? Maybe my kid will play it. I don't know. If there's nothing else to play on the Wii U, we might end up getting it.
Don't you think that's a little bit too difficult for kids? No.
Probably.
No.
The kids of the current generation are beyond us.
Yeah.
No? Okay.
Yeah, it should be okay.
Fair enough. Alrighty, next.
Then we saw The Wonderful 101.
I couldn't tell what was going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty busy. I mean, there's a lot going on the screen at once, and you're trying to direct your squadron using touch controls. So you're like doing gestures on the gamepad to direct them where to go.
I mean, single player looks okay, but when it goes to multiplayer, I just
5-player.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I cannot see what I meant to do.
Yeah.
You know, it's just so confusing. I don't know.
It looks like it could be really, really good, though.
Yeah, I mean, single player looks like it could be a blast, but multiplayer, unless you've got like a 50, 60-inch TV, yeah, too bad.
Oh, well, I'm in luck.
Oh, you are? Well, look at you. I don't.
Do you think this could be a potential killer title?
No.
I think this is going to be one of those titles that's pretty fun, but I just can't see them. This and Bayonetta, I mean, a couple of people, you know, they're interesting titles, especially for us, and especially Bayonetta too. But I just don't see them selling.
Platinum Games make awesome games, but unfortunately, they don't sell.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's really sad.
It is really. It's a travesty.
Yeah, they make really good games. They make
Okami,
eye-catching games and stuff like that, and it's like, yeah, these games should sell, but they never do, which is just
type level games. But anyway, but yeah,
you never know. I mean, if they launch at the right times, it might do well on the Wii U.
Well, I guess everyone's starving for anything on the Wii U, so maybe it'll sell like
munch it like crackers.
They've got nothing else. I don't know. Yeah,
I hope so. I wish them luck.
Me too.
I hope it somehow just pulls out a really good score out of nowhere. I really hope they get that this year. What is that, September?
It's coming August 24th in Japan.
Oh, August. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm hoping for some miracle there.
Then we saw Retro's game,
Donkey
which
Kong.
was not Metroid, but Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze.
Looks beautiful. But
I mean,
it's not
it's-
what I wanted.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean, it's not that, the previous game was brilliant. Thought it was really good. But it's the one thing that the Wii U isn't lacking, especially with, got Luigi U coming out. We've already got a Mario. We've got, is Yoshi's this year as well? Yoshi's New Island, this year game. And then we've got Sonic. We weren't particularly lacking, and we've got the new Super Mario 3D World. We weren't really lacking a platformer. So for it to be Donkey Kong, which is fine, but then I think someone mentioned, they had the chance of doing Donkey Kong or Metroid, and they chose to do Donkey Kong. It was like, would have been nice just to have had Metroid.
Yeah.
But
Or something new, maybe.
just something different.
Brand
They didn't
new
need
would
a
be
platformer. Basically, they needed something else.
Someone should have had a word with whoever green lights stuff like this and looked at what they've already got going. And
Brand new IP.
Yeah,
Well, allegedly, Retro had the choice of what game to work on, and they want to go back to Donkey Kong again.
maybe it was because Diddy Kong wore a tie.
Actually, that was a joke that Iwata made in the Japanese in the Japanese presentation, is that he had this Donkey Kong tie, but he didn't want to appear naked wearing just the tie, so he just held the tie while he was in his business suit.
What does that cover?
Yeah, I don't think it would. Anyway, that was just really...
I didn't even know that was a joke. I was just making fun.
No, that was a joke in the Japanese presentation. I'm listening to it. I'm like, what? You actually said that? Really? I don't think he said anything like that in English, did he?
Yeehaw.
But the new Donkey Kong game will have Dixie in it, so...
Probably salaryman karaoke box humor. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
It does look good, though. It looks really pretty, but yeah, it's just something...
Did you like the camera angles? I mean, that was their big feature, is that they'll have dynamic camera angles.
Yeah, it didn't really impress me with the camera angles. It just looked like a fun platformer.
Yeah.
And yeah, the one on the SNES was awesome. They were the rare games, but it looked great. I don't know if I'll pick it up though, because it's another 2014, right?
When is that coming? I think my video skipped, so I don't have a login. Its release date.
Right.
Let's see.
I think Martin's suffering from serious buyer guilt.
Sorry?
Well, buyer guilt, buying the Wii U.
Buyer's remorse?
Yeah.
No. I mean...
it's coming in November, actually.
I mean, I think I've said it before. I mean, I've got my Wii U for the Nintendo titles, because I wanted Nintendo titles in HD. And I guess I'll get them, but not till next year. It's a Nintendo machine. I mean, there's no other way of looking at it. Nintendo machines have ever since since the GameCube, really. It's always just been a Nintendo machine. There has been some classic third-party titles on it, like Resident Evil 4. But unfortunately, the way it's going, it just seems to be your $250 Nintendo machine, which is not a bad thing. But I just wish there was more of them, and more regular, and not always cancelled, or not cancelled, but always postponed and put back for another date. Oh. I mean, you buy a Nintendo machine, and I guess that's what you have to expect, really. I don't know. I don't know how you feel. Cheesy.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, people who get Nintendo systems are going to get all the Nintendo games, and what the third parties provide is gravy. And if you have multiple systems and the other manufacturers' hardware is more competent, then people are going to be inclined to get third-party titles on those platforms. And few people will go Nintendo only. So that's certainly a challenge Nintendo's facing with, convincing third parties to develop for their system. So they've got their work cut out for them. Be interesting to see if, their lineup this year is able to generate those safe sales that they need to, improve the fortunes of the system. So we'll see.
Okay.
Let's see. After that, we saw the trailer for Microsoft's X.
Again, I didn't see it because my stream just cacked out, and I was what? So how was it?
Yeah, I mean, it looks again a lot like Xenoblade, in HD.
Xenoblade was an awesome game.
Damn, it was.
Yeah, me and Steven enjoyed that one.
Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely something to be excited about. It's coming out next year again.
Surprise.
Yeah, so something to wait for. Basically.
Yeah, my wallet's bulging for Nintendo.
And after X, we saw the Smash Brothers trailer.
Are you a Smash Brothers fan?
Not really. It's not really my thing. I have
even with a
the
Wii
last
Fit
two
woman in it.
Yeah, the Wii Fit trainer is a playable character in the new Smash Brothers.
Yeah. DC, are you a fan of Smash Brothers at all?
I've tried to get into it 2 or 3 times, and I just can't. I mean, I'm not going to lie and say that it's about tournament level play and all that sort of argument. I like Nintendo games. I like the characters, but I didn't have much fun with it. I mean, we had a couple of games where there's a few of us playing. It was okay, but it wasn't this mind-blowingly amazing experience that I thought it was going to be, or I was led to believe it was going to be. So, I mean, it's just not for me. It's not that I particularly dislike anything about the game. It's just not. We just don't mix. So no, I mean the fact that there's a Wii U version with Mega Man and the Wii Fit trainer, it's nothing.
Rockman.
Did I say Mega Man?
Yes.
Wow, dear. Yes, with Rockman.
Oh boy.
It's Japan, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually missed the Mega Man reveal because my stream cut out.
But you saw it on Twitter, everyone go flipping out. Mega Man,
Yeah.
Mega Man, Rockman. And you were like, what?
Like, no, you spoiled it for me. No.
But I feel now that anything related to Mega Man is just trolling Mega Man fans. It's like...
Well, not this time. This time it's actually apparently done right.
But, I mean, I don't know. I just thought we'd maybe get a Mega Man game at some point. Having him in Smash Brothers is fine, but you know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah, Capcom's really mistreated the franchise.
Yeah.
Entirely.
So, I mean, I really like watching people play Super Smash Brothers, but I just don't get it on a gameplay point of view. I can't get into it. But I enjoy watching 4 people just go completely nuts.
Yeah, it's like being outside a really cool party, looking in and just not being allowed in. You just can't figure out a way in. I just, it's... I'd love to be able to feel like that about it, but unfortunately it just hasn't clicked. I know what's going to happen. I'm probably going to give the 3DS version a try and it will eventually click or something, but we'll see.
So are these games being built side by side?
Yeah, they're being made together, but they're not going to be interplayable.
Why?
I don't know. I thought that was one of the features that they had announced at the
I thought
outset.
that was one of the reasons why it was like delayed or something, or it's going to take so long to come out, was because they'll be implementing something cool like that.
Apparently, you'll just be able to exchange some character data of some sort. They were pretty vague on that point.
That's a missed opportunity, is it not?
Yeah, I would want to do,
Or do you think
interplayability.
it would be just too small? I don't know.
I don't know. I think they're going with like completely different stages in each game. Like all of the 3DS versions stages are based on portable games, and all of the Wii U stages are based on home console games. I mean, they're just going with completely different content.
Right.
So they're not going to be interplayable. I mean, you need to have the same levels on each version. I mean, if you could do something like Monster Hunter does, where you can have, local 5-player,
Right.
1 on Wii U and 4 on 3DS, that'd be pretty cool.
Right. Yeah. I think
But,
it's just,
I mean, the opportunities to do that are probably few and far between. You could probably get maybe 2 or 3 players going, realistically.
right.
But, yeah, I mean, you probably don't really need it because you're going to be playing on the same screen anyway on the Wii U. And then on 3DS, everyone's going to have their own unit. So,
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it would have been a cool bullet points
yeah.
to have. Oh, look, like the PlayStation does it, like we can do it as well, because PlayStation All Stars, that does it with the PlayStation 3 and the Vita. So it would have been nice to be able to just say the same type of thing. They can do it, we can do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's still going to sell regardless.
Yeah. Oh well. Fair enough. Okay, what was next?
So then it cut to Iwata reporting from LA in a separate recording, and he gave a miniature booth tour. He showed like some of the games that would be playable at E3, the new Link to the Past, which is what is it? A Rift Between Worlds, or what is it called?
Not sure. Didn't see it. My stream crapped out, so I didn't watch it.
Yeah, so they had the new 3DS Zelda game. They had new Yoshi's New Island, the Mario and Luigi RPG 4, Dream Team, Super Mario 3D World, Mario Kart 8, Pikmin 3. He said that, Olimar would not be a playable character, but the 3 new characters will be. And that was about it. That ended the presentation.
The one game I'm really excited for, but I'm tempering, is the Zelda. I think that looks amazing, but I don't know. I mean, it's that sort of Link to the Past thing. It's going exactly where I want it to go, but I've just got this sneaking suspicion it would probably be good to very good rather than absolutely exceptional, but we'll see. I mean, it's great to see Zelda looking like that.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
really
called A
excited
Link
about it.
Between Worlds.
A Link Between Worlds. Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really excited for that. And the 3DS lineup is just insane, as everyone knows.
I just wish the 3DS was bloody region free.
Yeah,
I know.
It's so annoying to have a handheld. You can't take it abroad. Well, you can, but you just can't buy anything when you get there.
I know. I
It's
posted
so stupid.
I posted a thread on NeoGAF during E3 asking people to ask Nintendo to make their systems region free.
How did people respond?
The Miiverse post I made got over 280 likes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did Nintendo not like delete it or ask you to remove it or something stupid?
Nothing like that, but I never saw it in the popular posts of the community it was on.
Let me ask you a question. I don't mean to grill you or anything, but I mean, you're a really big proponent of this, and you've said some pretty strong things about Xbox One, which I'm miffed, so I agree with a lot of it.
Xbox One is also region locked.
Right, of course. And the way I make the final decision is whether based on the exclusives and if any of the negative things that miff me don't just miff me in principle, but whether they directly affect me like they have Martin. They will for him. Don't you feel yourself leaning towards not purchasing games that are region free? I mean, you talked about it when it happened for PlayStation 3 for the first time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you feel? I mean, I understand that it's been existing since time immemorial, but Don't you feel like you're leaning to the point where you just don't want to support that and stop buying those games? It just seems that you're such an outspoken person, but having watched you, I can't help but feel like you're turning a blind eye towards that. Yeah,
the thing is, it's really hard to vote with your wallet for region-free gaming, simply because it's a very niche.
Just out of principle.
And out of principle, I mean, if you go with only region-free gaming, you're cutting yourself off from a very large segment of games. I mean, it's going to be
absolutely.
2 out of 3
hobby.
home consoles. Yeah, you basically need a new hobby if you're going to simply avoid
I just
all
can't help
region
but
lock.
wonder if other people think that reading, because you're so outspoken now, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, really, people just need to speak up for it if anything's going to get done. I mean, people need to say, hey, this is important to me. I really want this as a feature of your system. And
I'm just imagining if there are a lot of people like you who don't stop purchasing games like that. Don't you think that could help in a way? I mean, you've outlined that how it won't, but
I think a lot of the problem is that too many gamers say, oh, it doesn't affect me, so I don't care. Or, oh,
but gamers are
this
greedy
argument is doomed anyway. It's like they're more than ready
and lazy,
willing to throw you under the bus.
Yeah.
Whereas when you finally get a cause, and it's, similarly a quote-unquote political cause in this always online DRM, you suddenly get this huge online campaign going, and everyone's supporting it, and, the entire reputation of a system is ruined over it. And I have to wonder, where were these people when the arguments for region-free gaming were being made?
Right.
I mean, why couldn't they support that cause? Even if it doesn't affect them, it could make the gaming experience that much better for their fellow gamers.
Well,
why can't they?
Is a form of DRM, though, isn't it?
Region locking is a form of DRM. Absolutely. There are no two bones about that. However, region locking is not something that has the potential from making games inoperable someday.
Right. I mean, I kind of understand region locking in a home console, but I never understood it in a
handheld
portable.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The move to region lock 3DS was just, I mean,
asinine. Yeah,
it just didn't make. It's like, well, I'm sure there's some publisher reasons, etc. I mean, there's always legitimate reasons in inverted commas, but the whole portable idea. I mean, one of the great sort of small pleasures I'd have is if I was traveling, take the Game Boy or whatever, you go through an airport and you buy a game, you play it on the way there, play on the way back or whatever.
Yeah, exactly,
it's just a fun thing. But now it's like you're coming back from London to Japan. It's like, well, actually, for me, I actually have a US 3DS and a Japanese one, but I don't have a European one, so I can't. Right. You can't even do that.
You shouldn't have to be able to carry 3 devices on you.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I mean, and then you get into silly things where you see things like, hacks, and then it's like, well, if I go the hack route, and this is what bothers me eventually about X1, because eventually it'll be hacked, and then most likely hackers will not have to put up with all the crap, and then people who play by the rules in inverted commas have to deal with this 24-hour asinine, stupid set of rules. It's really. It just seems to punish the people who actually buy the consoles.
It seems like once you do go to the point where you get rid of the region locking, you're so far that you might as well start just getting games for free. I mean, you're already doing something that's wrong. I see a lot of people doing that.
Self-defeating. I mean, really, the key is to just give the babies their bottle, let them play the region-free games. Then there won't be any temptation to go into that sort of thing.
That's what I mean. Exactly what I believe in. Well, exactly what you said. But I'm saying that's what they'll do once they get rid of the region. If they hack it, then they're going to start getting.
They will.
It's good. They're going to go that far. They're not going to stop just short of that.
Yeah, I mean the PS3. I mean, being region free except for the Persona fighting game, and I don't know if there's any other games out there that. Yeah, I mean it's it actually cuts a massive amount of the reason to start hacking the machine in the first place, like you say, so then you don't lead on to the PS3 obviously was cracked eventually, but that initial sort of impetus, like let's be able to play all the games, goes away quite well, basically by definition.
Yeah.
And I mean this is going to be a big factor between the X1 and the PS4. If I can play whatever games I want on the PS4 and it's going to be effectively region free, then why would I tie a set of hoops to myself that I have to jump through for the X1 when I can just do it on a PS4.
Yeah, I think it's so great that Sony announced that PlayStation 4 will be region free, and that made my generation basically.
Yeah, It makes a big difference.
Okie dokie. Is there anything else that you wanted to go through on the Nintendo Direct?
No, I mean, Nintendo didn't really have a whole lot of surprises this year. They went kind of the safe route. It's like with sequels and follow-ups to proven hits, and some of the more challenging and daring games coming next year.
I found really weird is Nintendo have a tablet for their console, right?
Yeah.
Yet they're not using it like one. Like Mario Kart.
Yeah.
The tablet is used as a giant horn. And that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, really?
Come on, Cheesy, get angry, man. I want to hear it.
No, I'm just saying the console.
I want to hear you rage about Nintendo.
Isn't really being used. It's just, it's like an afterthought. It's just like, oh yeah, we've got this second screen. What would we do with? Oh yeah, put a horn on it. There you go. That'll do. It's ridiculous. Then you've got games like Watch Dogs, which look great. I'm really looking forward to Watch Dogs, where you can get people with a tablet or a mobile phone who can hack into your game and either A, help you, or B, go up against you and block you and get the police in order to track you down and stuff and hinder you in the game. And that's a tablet. So it's really weird that Nintendo aren't doing the tablet thing. They're just doing the... Oh, yeah, just put a horn on it.
So let me turn this around on you. If you were designing Mario Kart, how would you use the tablet?
I'd do it so you could set up, like, before you start the game strategy. If I get this, put this here. If I get those, put those there. And pre-put stuff where you'd like to get it dropped. If you don't want to drop it there, you could have a cancel button, so when you pick something up, you can cancel, say, I don't want to put it there because I've got stuff on my ass and I want to drop it now. So...
so you'd use it for your item attacks.
So item attacks, yeah, but predetermined item attacks. So say, if I get bananas, I want to put the bananas here, here, and here. If I get the red shell, I want to do it...
It's a little bit tactician.
A bit more tactical about it. Instead of, there's a horn, beep, 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 beep. Oh, and you can do it as well while it's loading. Woohoo! Tablet gaming, there you go. What's going on?
Another incredible experience.
It doesn't make sense. Right.
So, if you're predetermining where to use your items, and the circumstances of the game are different from what you had envisioned,
you can cancel it. You can cancel it.
So wouldn't the real-time controls make more sense because that's when you're going to be using them?
No, but you got the choice, right? You can strategize about stuff like that. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out
you want something deeper. I mean, it doesn't. You're not saying do this, Nintendo, but you want something deeper on those lines.
Just something a little bit different. I mean, like Ubisoft seems to be going in a real cool way with that. Well, I think it is with their tablets. Look at the Division. Tom Clancy, The Division. Did you see it?
No, I didn't.
Again, very interesting with the tablet.
But I think it makes. I mean, to be honest, I just want Mario Kart to be Mario Kart. I mean, the fact that it's got a horn as a button, to be honest, to me doesn't really
No, I'm not saying
matter.
that. I'm not saying just Mario Kart. I'm just saying Nintendo as a whole. They've got a machine with a tablet, but they're not utilizing it as a tablet.
Well, the one thing I would say in their defense, and this is a massive turnaround for me, because when I got the Wii U, I bought Nintendo Land, and I was pretty upset about it. I was like, "What is this?"
But Nintendo Land, is the only game that really shows what you can do with it, but nothing else does.
The big thing about it is it's very good as well.
Yeah,
I mean, I went from being someone who didn't like it at all. I mean, now to close to 100 hours playing it with my son, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I know.
But then Zombie U uses it pretty well as well, and that's
it looked like they did.
Awesome game as well.
There's my point. That's Ubisoft again.
You're talking specifically about
first party
usage.
Yeah.
Trying to think what else they have. Well, they did do Game and Wario.
Oh, come on!
And that might be the reason why they're staying away from it, because they didn't get it right at all. It was absolutely awful.
I think Nintendo don't know what to do with it.
It's dystopian vision for something they created.
Yeah, they've come up with it and gone, okay, guys, you do what you want to, and everyone else has gone, oh, okay, cool, we'll do it. And yeah, I mean, because to me, I could be playing Watch Dogs. I could play that at home, and then if I've got my phone with me or my tablet or whatever at lunchtime, I could do some stuff and I could hack into someone's game and either help them out or just hinder them for like 10, 20 minutes.
But that's not specific to the Wii U version, right? That's all versions. You can use
versions, yeah. That's what I'm saying. I mean,
yeah.
Playing the one game, you can play it different ways. You can play it at home on the console, or you can play it on your tablet or your smartphone. And I think that's really cool because I hate, at the moment, I hate tablet smartphone games. I really just don't like them. I try to avoid them. I mean, the only real games I play on a smartphone or a tablet are music games.
Wait, so you're complaining about how you don't like tablet games, and yet you're decrying Nintendo for not?
What they're showing now is interesting to me. Is interesting because it affects a game I'm playing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hold on. What about? I mean, it's only minor, but Mario with the tablet is a fairly significantly different experience with multiple players and a tablet. I mean, it's very. I mean, when I first saw it, just putting platforms underneath. That's pretty lame, is what I thought before I played it. But then when you get into it, it's there's a number of different ways that changes the game. So I mean, that's the first party wise. That and Nintendo.
Well,
and
what I'm saying is, at E3 there was nothing to really show off what they were doing.
I don't think there was much. I mean, to be quite honest, I thought they played it incredibly safe, and they haven't put any ideas out there. I don't know whether that's deliberate or they just don't have anything else. I'm hoping at TGS they're going to show.
Well, they don't show at TGS, but
not at TGS. But in the direct around the TGS side, that they'll have something. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh well, whatever. Next, let's move on. Is that all we've got for Nintendo? Cheesy.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got a bunch of questions from the Twitterverse.
Oh, can I just ask?
No.
Yeah, just one real quick.
Okay, I'll let you go.
I'll tickle you while I do it. Is there anything at E3 that you wanted to see Japanese game-wise that you didn't see that I guess you have to look forward to TGS? And anything on the hardware side? For me personally, I was most disappointed with the fact that neither Microsoft or Sony said that they'll be supporting Oculus Rift.
Not yet.
I mean, I was looking at, I've been trying to follow the news because I'm figuring they're going to be reporting on a lot of stuff, given that it was E3 and there's a lot of talk. It looks like it's going to be available around the same time as Xbox One and PlayStation. It's going to be shipping later this year. Just Nate Mitchell said, who's VP of the company. So it just seems to me that this is a lost opportunity. If either of the companies went forward and said, yes, we're going to support it, I think it would have made them look a lot stronger, and it would have been easy to do.
So I thought one company had said they were supporting it, but I might have dreamt it. But I love that. Yeah, I will check. I mean, I
read that they did say that when they got Yoshida in a corner, and they said, will PlayStation 4 support it? And he said, no, it doesn't. And then they asked him whether the company's planning on offering the support in the future, and all he did was say no comment with a huge smile. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. They won their Kickstarter. They got their 2.4 mil. They sent out all the dev kits. Like everybody else, they would have them, I'm assuming. And you'd think they would know by now if something's coming out by the end of the year. It doesn't seem like it would be too hard to support it based on games that they've been supporting quickly. For the PC. That is to say. So it just, I don't know, doesn't this feel weird to you? Or is this just one of those things where it's another device not related to us, so we don't need to focus on it?
Okay, you asked two big questions there.
Yeah.
Which one are we answering first?
Yeah, go with either one, the Japanese games or that.
I was surprised that there wasn't a lot of Japanese games on show, but I don't know, maybe it just goes to show that, I don't know, maybe Japanese developers are pretty slow on the whole next gen thing. and they're more focused on handhelds, like I said before. I don't know.
Like, what would that mean for Microsoft specifically if they don't show up at TGS? I mean, would be that's suicide, commercial
No, I
suicide.
don't think so. They did it last year.
Well, they did it last year, but they weren't putting out a new console.
Well, they're not going to put out a new console this year either.
Well, I mean, but that's going to come out before the next TGS of 2014.
You don't know that.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Asia is end of 2014.
Yeah.
So if it's going to launch the same time as Asia, it will be after the next TGS.
So there you go.
Do you seriously?
Yeah, I think we need to rewind all the way to the start of that X1 purchase decision that you were making. So yeah, it could be the end of next year before you see X1 in Japan.
Jeez.
If they do that, they're morons.
Yeah, they're already morons. But
Don't
They
even
are
bother.
such major morons. It's not even funny.
you give Major
Because by
Nelson
the
a
time
new
the installer the base will be huge for PlayStation 4.
Yep.
I mean, there will be such a huge head. That's not even a head start. That's like just that's 100 laps.
Yeah. It's
Well,
caught in
that was
third
the same
place.
with the Xbox, though, with the PlayStation 3, or it had a year on top of it, and that was in America and Europe.
And look, but we learned historically that wasn't a good idea.
No, but I mean, this is Japan. They're never going to win it. I mean, it's been out in Japan for 7 years, and they've only sold 1 million units, so nothing's really going to change in Japan anyway. Maybe Asia, it's slightly different, but in Japan, it's not going to change.
Yeah, without a massive major investment in money hatting everything in Japan, it's not going to happen. I think they
Okay,
must
let's
know
take
that
some
now.
predictions. When do you think it's coming out in Japan?
I don't think it is.
You don't think it is, period?
Period.
Wow.
Might as well not.
Wait, hold on, man. You got some insiders that you're just...
No, I don't. I just think
It's just like a touchy-feely...
I think what they might do is just say, sod it, we'll just have an Asian machine and we'll release it. People can import it to Japan and it will work. And
So,
it'll be
in other words, you can use it in multiple countries within
It'll be one of the few ones, and I think this might be the reason that they're delaying it, is that some machines might work in multiple countries.
Holy stink.
I think that's how they're going to do it.
It's so confusing.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
But
So
I've no confidence of them launching a Japan-specific machine, even though they've said they've given lip service to the fact that they will.
So why would they be keeping Japan separate then from the Asian announcement?
Well, apparently last year, the 360 was one of the biggest, fastest selling machines in Asia. But Japan, it's dead.
So they're trying to hide the fact that it's not doing well in Japan?
Well, everyone already knows that, but yeah.
Yeah, they might be
Right.
trying to hide the fact that they're just not releasing it in Japan. I mean, they're just not going to show it at TGS now. Then we roll around to the next TGS. It's coming out in Asia at the end of 2014. Still, they might not have even mentioned what's happening in Japan yet.
How would you even go about announcing that you're not coming to a country? You wouldn't announce that.
Just
Yeah,
don't
you
announce it.
try to not announce it and just let people put two and two together.
The editor-in-chief of the Xbox Famitsu, I mean, they've already gone from like an every month magazine to like quarterly, I believe now.
Oh, man.
The Xbox Famitsu. And I don't even think Munetatsu, the editor-in-chief, went. That to me was such a bad sign, seeing that. There was another big site and then that guy went, but to me that was really scary.
I mean, Xbox this week or last week, according to Famitsu, only sold 432 units.
But yeah, but that's
But
what's
I mean,
always
I'm
been.
comparing that to a PlayStation 3, which came out a year later. Was it a year later? Yes,
Mhm.
a year later, and it's still.
But this is home country. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
I
the
know,
home
but
territory.
But that's what I'm saying. Is there much of a point in bringing it over here when the PlayStation 3 is still selling 10,394?
Well, I guess what I'm saying is what little that they did sell, the little toehold that they do have, all those people who, I mean, there are a lot of serious, I mean, my whole friends list is full of them, people who love Xbox, and most of them are Japanese gamers, and those people are just going to go F it.
Is 1 million units worth it? I don't think it is.
No.
No, I guess it's not really historically. If you come out with a new console, obviously you want to learn from your prior mistakes and do something good, right? Isn't that how we are? want to move
I
forward.
think Microsoft killed it when they first released the original Xbox in Japan, when they released the Xbox and their games with no Japanese support, and just said, there you go. All the
Yeah.
games
Yeah, that
are
was
in
hubris at its finest.
English. Yeah.
But there's a lot of other problems as well, right? Kinect was a disaster here because it didn't work in the room of a certain size, and there's been, part of the excuse of it launching so late in Asia was to make an improved Kinect. But then they're going to be potentially launching against a PS4 that's already been out for possibly close to a year, and at a higher price.
So it puts
It's just like when you start looking at it, it's like at some point, someone in a suit in a room is just going to say, why are we bothering? I mean, you're looking at the figures that's coming in, how much it's going to cost them, and just say, we don't stand a chance here, why bother?
Yes. A million units is not worth the money.
And I don't think they'd hit anywhere near a million units this time.
I think it's going to be
a
because they're making
downward
poor
trend.
decisions, right? But it's just such negative upon negative.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be DOA without DOA.
Well, that game sucked.
Well, what would you think if they decided to give the machine to a Japanese company to?
I think that would be a brilliant idea. And anything like that.
Like Sega?
Yeah, you basically
not
need
like
to
a
rebrand
Panasonic
it.
or Sharp or something like that. Just give them the license to build it.
Show them that they care.
Do you think that
How
would
about
work?
that?
No.
I mean, they already did that with the Xbox 360. The whole front was designed by a company in Osaka, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
the thing. The thing I'm looking back to is the Panasonic Q.
yeah.
Remember the GameCube?
I guess the original MSX was based on that model, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not all they're missing, though.
No.
Yeah,
but
they need support from Japanese developers, and they're going to be looking at the same thing going, well, unless we sell and tailor our games to the West, and in which case, do we care? You know what I mean? It's like, well, you're still not going to be aiming for the Japanese market.
Right.
So all these Japanese-developed games not even available in Japan. Available in the Western market, essentially.
Well, the Western market's much bigger than the Japanese market, right?
Essentially.
So
It's just like,
It's-
not only are Westerners not supporting us, but the Japanese can't even support their own home crowd.
well, they support their own crowd
Elsewhere.
through handhelds. That's where their home support comes in, and the home support is better than anyone else's handheld support. I mean, the Japanese developers kill Western developers on handheld, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's just a complete reverse, really.
I'm just trying to figure out what they can do to, like, I don't know. I mean, to me, they're still in bullet time. I mean, until TGS, they're in bullet time. They can do things to shoot the bad issues down, dead. And if they want to expunge themselves, they have time to maneuver right now. Obviously, they utterly effed it up at the keynote. Jesus. Kidding me?
Wait till next week's or this week's Famitsu. Let's see on Thursday when it comes out. Check it. Let's see what happens. I want to see because I really don't know what kind of the reaction the Japanese have had to the 360, because in any of the stores, not one of the stores I've been to has anything about the X1. They all have pictures and posters and, well, not posters, but like mock-ups and stuff of PS4. They all have them, but not one of them have anything with X1. So it's already, no one's really interested.
Yeah.
And what's the guy from Sesui? Sesui is his name? The guy who's head of Microsoft Japan?
Oh, right. I don't know. He's probably
I haven't
left.
seen him for a while.
He's probably left, yeah. He's probably gone to work in a barber shop or something.
Probably selling tailor clothes.
Yeah.
He looked pretty good in them.
Yeah, he's got his Hitler mustache. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know.
Isn't this crazy talk?
No, not really. Considering that, like, if you think about it, how much money are they gonna put into it and only sell 1 million units? It just doesn't seem worth it. Not even
So no matter what, they're screwed.
in Japan, yeah,
I
definitely.
mean, like when you talk about NFL, TV, it's the hub, it's got entertainment for everything. Why can't they do this stuff over here?
Well, NFL for one doesn't work over here.
No, not that. I'm talking about the homegrown version. Sumo, whatever. I don't know.
Is there fantasy sumo? That would be pretty cool.
I don't think there is.
I would
Yeah, we
be
should
into
stop
that.
that.
I can
There's
get
certainly
on that.
plenty of gambling.
Well, let's copyright that now.
Yeah.
Said it here
Fantasy
first.
Sumo. Yeah, let's do it.
But I mean, another thing is I don't know. They have to redo the whole Kinect thing, voice thing, right?
Yeah,
Because
for
the
Japanese.
Kinect, you had to say Xbox. You couldn't say Xbox because it wouldn't understand it, right, Steve?
That's so easy, though, right?
I don't know if they can be.
I
arsed.
believe the original Kinect supports Japanese.
Yeah,
It does. We did it.
It does, yeah.
My Japanese Xbox wouldn't support English. I had to go Xbox.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's really lame.
It's great. What do you like watching? Xbox?
Hey,
I mean,
that's
come
racist.
on.
That's funny. No, I just don't see the numbers, and I can't see them thinking it's a good idea.
Okay, so DC answered his question. You too?
I'm surprised it's just a lack of Japanese games in a whole.
I mean, do you think it's going to come out? That's what he said. It's not. You think?
I think it will come out, but not a Japanese one. It'll be an Asian one, like DC
Right.
said.
I think you changed your question halfway through. I think
did.
the original
I'm angry. So sorry.
your original question was
No, I know, but answer this one, and then we'll get to the one about.
okay. So
Sorry, I'm not. This is why I'm not. I don't do what Martin does.
yeah,
I'm not a host.
Xbox One in Japan is doomed to be a failure, even more so than it is in the West.
I don't think it's going to be a failure in the West.
I think.
I really
No,
No way is it going to be a failure in the West. That's never
okay.
Gonna happen.
Amazon had
Pre-orders.
its Facebook poll that it had up. It was going to be up for a week. It had to close early for some reason, and the final results were PlayStation 4 38,984, Xbox One 2,162.
Yeah, but does Facebook really give you a true indication?
Um,
I mean, people probably see
Exactly.
that on a forum. Like people on NeoGAF probably go, "Yeah, let's go over it," and like, no, give.
People with agendas are hunting
Yeah,
those out.
So
And enthusiast gamers are definitely swayed towards Sony, but if I look at the people I know who I'd class as casual gamers on my Facebook page, they're all really thrilled that they've already got their X1 pre-orders done in the UK and the US.
Yeah.
So it's not really us that decide this; it's what everyone else decides.
yeah, it's the
And in the end, I won't be surprised to see the X1 do really well in the West.
I think it's down to people who buy their Madden and Call of Duty, and that's all. They buy.
Exactly. Repeaters.
And yeah, so it's
Repeating
not
exclusives.
People
I don't
like
know.
us
This
are
has
not
gotten
gonna
into the
shake it down.
mainstream press, and I think there's sufficient negative buzz around it. And a lot of people are saying, "Oh, I've been an Xbox player for a long time, and now I'm going PS4."
The big kill will be if Sony's machine is significantly more powerful and one of the banner games is able to be seen running side by side in a shop and the PS4 version is clearly better and it's $100 less, that's going to hurt.
Okay, but they always develop towards the lowest common denominator. They code it that way, don't they?
Well, they do, but this time the architectures are similar, right? We've got there's the RAM difference in terms of how the Xbox
both
handles
8,
the pool.
one's 3, one's 5, right?
And then you've got the speed difference, but then you've got the GPU difference. So they could, well, for instance, you're right. A lot of games probably will be just developed to the lower common denominator. But what happens if you start getting games on one that's 30 frames per second but 60 on the other? I mean, it's not outside the realms of possibility. So, but you're right. Most likely they will develop to the X1 unless the X1 starts doing really badly.
Well, don't you think people who look at the prices and go, "Oh, that one's $100 more. It must be better."
That's a very small percentage of the population.
I think it's pretty clear what's
I think in times when people are flush with money, that happens. But given recent events globally, I think it's possibly not going to work that way. Okay. It's more likely going to be, oh wow, it's the same game, but I can save $100.
It will be nice to that every single person, they'll have 100% support. I mean, every single person who buys an X1 is going to have a Kinect this time. So at least the developers will have an inclination to develop for it.
We haven't seen that yet, though.
No, we haven't. And we talked about it, and that's a serious problem. I mean, it is. But I think in long term, I think that will have an effect, whereas with the PS camera, you're not going to get that because you don't have everybody buying it. You have a smaller install base.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, it's true.
In long term development cycle, it's going to matter later. Come on, It's going to be big.
Really?
We're focused on the now a lot, obviously.
For multi-platform titles, do you really think that they're going to be motivated to develop these
I'm not
extra
saying
features?
just multi-platform, but I'm saying there's plenty of developers who'll be developing for Xbox One.
Exclusives.
Well, yeah, I think so for sure, 100%.
So the fraction of all the games on the system that will be Xbox One exclusives, what percentage of those will actually develop Kinect features? I mean, you're talking about an increasingly small percentage of games.
I mean, we all know how multi-platform games work. I mean, they're just sort of carbon copies of each other. So we have yet to see that happen, do we? Where multi-platform looks amazingly different on one platform. Do we have that?
No.
PS3 and X360 at the start, due to the architecture difference, a lot of the PS3 games really, looked poor. And it took a long time for that to sort of level out.
Yeah, it's like 2 years, isn't it? 2-3 years?
Yeah. I mean, this is the weird thing about this E3 that I took away from, is it's almost a mirror of what happened with PS3 and X360.
Well, it's the curse of the third console, right?
Right. Oh, yeah, there's that.
Microsoft getting too big for the boots. And then I think they'll dial back again soon.
Well, really, that grand vision of the entertainment hub that's kind of effing with things as a gamer.
Microsoft have had that grand vision since the Xbox original.
Yeah,
they always wanted to be the hub of the
right. I think arguably it's coming to fruition now. I mean, looking at it, I mean, the first reveal obviously drove me insane as a gamer, but
TV.
Yeah. But how smooth everything looked. I mean, it looked like, okay, they're getting to it. They're not giving up on it. They're about to realize it. But how much does that matter for us right here in Japan? Not much. So
yeah.
So we're back to where we started.
Yep.
Can we answer your other questions?
Yeah. Go for it.
So you asked if there are any Japanese titles that weren't
there that you wanted to be there.
I think this is going to be a common answer, but The Last Guardian.
Right.
Still missing in action.
That's
Gran
so
Turismo
coming.
Vita, where was that?
Oh, yeah, that's missing in action, too.
Oh,
yeah.
What else?
Yeah. I don't know about not being there. I was just worried the fact that there wasn't a whole lot of Japanese developed titles.
Yeah, a lot of Japanese developers are on handheld systems.
I know that there's a big divide.
Yeah.
But it's becoming more and more apparent.
Yeah, it's deepening.
And then every time you go to TGS, the handheld space is bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So I mean, it makes complete sense. I mean, it's total
demographics.
Where it's going, it's not about the graphics anymore. I guess it's about playing wherever, anytime, no matter where you are. Yeah. I mean, the one title that I did like the look of, which was Japanese, was Evil Within.
Really?
Shinji Mikami, yeah. Scary stuff again? I don't know. No?
Wait, I thought you didn't like horror games.
I like horror games that are not action games.
Oh, so pure survival horror?
Yeah. I mean, I told you, probably my favorite game on the 360 was, oh God, what was it called? It was almost a launch title. They made a second one. Oh,
Condemned.
It scared the crap out of me. Played it in the dark, and I absolutely loved it. So I don't know. You didn't play it, did you, Steve?
You gave me like a developer copy. I haven't played it.
Yeah, I know, exactly, right?
Sorry.
I had a friend from Sega who gave it to me. That's why it's on a silver disc, but it works in a regular retail. One of the scariest games I've ever played. The atmosphere was amazing. Unlike Resident Evil, where it just seems to be an action game with a scare every few hours, with a dog jumping through a window. It's an action game now. It's no longer a survival horror. I'm looking forward to that.
Actually, that reminds me of one game one game series that I was sort of hoping to see, but probably more likely at TGS. So around that time would be Fatal Frame on the Wii U.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Oh, you mean with the gamepad as well?
Well, it's kind of weird. The Spirit Camera game was kind of... It did a lot of things right, I mean, the whole idea that you're looking around your own room and
that's
this
awesome.
ghost there was pretty well done, but the art decision was the wrong one.
Yeah,
It
yes.
was a little bit too cartoony.
Didn't you need to have a lit room as well?
Yeah, and
that was terrible.
That ruined it. But with a high def version of that, using the camera on the Wii U, that could be spectacular.
That goes back to a really smart use of the tablet, right?
Yeah. And yeah, that series, especially the first game, really screwed me up.
The thing like that would be cool on the Xbox One because the camera could tell when you're scared, and it could really ramp her up to make.
Oh yeah, make it even more traumatic and kill you.
Yeah, it'll call an ambulance for you as well while you're doing it.
with the Domino's pizza in
This
there.
guy's having a heart attack. No, I think games like that are pretty awesome. Still, you need to play Condemn, man. You need to pop it in.
Okay,
and
I will
play
do that. I got it here. I'll do it within a week.
Exactly right.
All right, I'll do it.
Do it.
Bring back the vitality sensor.
Yeah, it's a bit late now, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to play it. Damn you.
Yeah, you will be damned.
Condemned.
Condemned. Yeah. No.
Okay, was that everybody?
So your other question?
Yeah, and then
Or did everyone
Oculus
make it to
Rift,
answer?
but like anything else that miffed you about hardware that for me it was Oculus Rift's absence with no support. Anything on that line?
There were some Oculus Rift demos at E3.
No, there were, but there was no one has announced official support for it yet.
Well, the development kits have only just really gone out, so give them time.
Well, no, I was just saying that because they think it's going to be available at about the same time as a PlayStation 4 and X1.
This
That's
fall?
why. Yeah. Yeah, they did. Nate Mitchell said that. Possible device could be ready for home consumers around the same time Xbox One and PlayStation 4 begin shipping later this year.
Well, a lot
That'd
of
be
that
pretty
stuff
cool.
will probably be bedroom coders, just putting
Right.
hacks in.
It just seems like if one of them went for that, it would have been a really smart idea.
Yeah, if the PlayStation gets a hold of the Oculus
Kinect.
Rift.
With Kinect, if they jumped on that really hard. Anyway, but anything like that, but
No,
not
with
just Oculus Rift.
Kinect wouldn't be able to see your face then, so I wouldn't know if you were scared if you used an Oculus Rift.
Yeah, it's doing facial recognition now.
Yeah.
Oh God.
If you block out your face, then it will
It's
fail
true.
that.
Yeah, it won't work anymore. So yeah, okay, cool. So we go through the tweets then?
Yeah.
Okay, so Nintendo tweet. She asks, which company had the best E3 presentation?
How's that a question?
Sony.
Yeah, obviously
Really?
Sony.
I think it was Sony, obviously because of the bombs that they dropped, but
Right.
as an overall presentation, Microsoft presentation was pretty slick. And although there was not a lot of the games they showed were to my interest, but
Yeah, ironically, games-wise,
yeah.
probably Nintendo had the titles there. I was like, well, I'm definitely buying that. I'm definitely buying that.
Yes,
Right.
also,
And in retrospect, they didn't have much. It was very safe, but yeah, the 2 or 3 titles that they showed, I was like, well, I'm definitely buying all these.
well,
so-
Yeah,
the thing is though, the PlayStation they already made you say, yeah, I'm definitely buying a PS4 as well, and that's
Yeah.
hardware.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's presentation-wise, Sony, games-wise, Nintendo. There you go.
okay, DC, take the next one.
Let me see. Have there been any... this is from Roquero. Have there been any positive reaction towards Wii U from Japanese gamers after E3?
I think Cheesy's probably the best with that one, right?
I haven't seen a whole lot of Japanese threads on reactions, but what I did see was that everyone was just laughing at the Xbox One. It's just a huge joke over here.
Well, they're calling it, what's the other one? One, which is has interesting sexual orientation. That was another way of giving it a nickname. Instead of Batsu Ichi, they're also calling it One, because you can read one as One.
All right.
Oh,
So they were What are they
It's also
calling Microsoft? They're calling it, Makurosoft, Blacksoft, which is jet black in Japanese.
it's also
Ominous.
the Xbox One, which is the sound a dog makes.
Yeah.
One, yeah. Wow.
I think that's cute, actually.
Or Xbox
Or
Nya Nya. Do you
Xbox.
think that'll sell?
What's that?
Xbox Nya Nya.
Oh, no.
No. Okay, maybe
So-
Monster Hunter with that one.
Just because I platinumed Miku doesn't mean I accept that.
Okay.
So we'll have to dig into that, see if there is any reaction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, well, we've got Famitsu coming out this week, so we'll see
Yeah.
what happens in there as well.
It'd be like 800 pages.
Probably up
Yeah,
with a phone
read your
book.
letter saying, "Hey, I'm buying this system now."
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Coolio. Okay, Cheesy, take the next one.
Yeah, Lick-chan asks, "Who pre-ordered a PS4 already?"
Me.
I
And 2
did.
games.
After all that, there's only me who didn't. The person who was like, yeah, I'm definitely ordering a PS4, that hasn't ordered
Steve
one.
hasn't ordered one.
Oh, Steve hasn't ordered one yet.
No, I'll buy one at the Red. I'm going to get one.
Are you going to go home for Christmas?
I'm not sure. I'll kind of up there, so I'm just sort of waiting and seeing.
Right, because you didn't go last year either.
No,
And it's been like 2 years in a trot. It's like, that's
I
not
know.
unthinkable.
I know. That's
Oh.
another subject.
We're basically on board.
Yeah, we're on board. I'm on board for both at this point. If they'll allow me to be on board.
Okie dokie. All right, Stevie, take the next one.
Okay, Ivan. How would PS perform if it is released in Japan by end of this year, and if it's released next year, So how would it perform this year if it's released? How would it perform next year if it's released?
I think it's just going to depend on the games. I think the Wii U had a decent price point, but no games. And I mean, same for the 3DS eventually. I mean, it started taking off eventually, but you still need the software. So it's going to depend what they've got at TGS. If they have nothing and it's just a Western lineup, it will probably struggle.
Yeah, if it's got a
Well,
Western lineup, it's screwed in Japan for launch.
Yeah, it would
Of course, they've got no
people are just going to buy a
competition.
3DS.
Well, I mean, it'll sell for launch, but it won't sell in like crazy numbers. Not until like Japanese games come. But I reckon TGS has got some bombs to drop as well.
Yeah,
Last Guardian, yeah.
cooking. That can't be vaporware at this point.
No,
That's
No,
got to be
I
final
mean-
build. That's got to be close to final build, people.
it's got to be soon. But yeah, it's yeah. I mean, because the only game I know from Sony's press conference that was from Japan was Knack, right?
What about Ray?
That's PS3 though, right?
Oh, was that? Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. The Puppeteer looks beautiful though, right?
Oh, right.
Looks good. Looks good.
What are they making for both? Are they making any for both?
I don't think so.
Only retarded X1.
Maybe Metal Gear, but that's not a launch title.
Okay.
Okie dokie. Goon Kid. Expectations for Gamescom and TGS. Maybe a solid date at Gamescom for Europe and America. For the
Yeah, we need
PS3.
release date sometime.
Yeah. And TGS, they'll probably announce the release date and price for PS4
Japan.
For a lot of Gree and mobile Gree games.
Oh, for crying out loud.
No, I
The
don't
Gree
think so, no.
booth.
I don't think there'll be a lot of I don't think it'll be as much because there's a new platform now. There's 2 new hardware platforms, so no, I don't think there's going to be as much.
Well, the Gree
Great.
booth,
It's gonna be a little
actually,
more.
the Gree
Oh,
bubble is
bucket.
popping, isn't it?
I hope so. Well, I don't really because people lose their jobs. It's not good. But yeah, expectations. Gamescom should be cool. Always is. A lot of games announced for the European gamers, slightly different to the US, I guess, sports-wise.
So some direct feed, extended play of what we saw at E3 would be great. There's a lot of stuff I just want to get. Like I was watching Crimson Dragon, and they had the extended version, but it was like 240 resolution. I mean, just want to see stuff as it should be viewed.
Okay.
I'd be interested to see if Deep Down or whatever Deep Down is makes an appearance at TGS.
Oh, the Capcom game?
Yeah. I mean, I assume it's Dragon's Dogma or something. But yeah, I want to see if it actually exists.
So you're thinking that just could be a tech demo?
I'm more inclined to think Capcom usually show that sort of thing and then there's a game attached to it. I can't think of many occasions where they've showed just raw tech and then done nothing with it. So I'm hoping that is...
Okay. So deep down, it could be Dragon's Dogma.
It could be something completely new. It looks like, maybe elements of Dark Souls crossed with Monster Hunter stroke Dragon's Dogma. I don't know, but
Right.
it looked like I want Monster Hunter to look like. So
Okay.
fingers
Well,
crossed.
Maybe with more power, maybe they're able to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. Cheesy?
Yeah, so I don't know.
You looking
Every
forward
year
to it,
I
eh?
go to TGS, and
Yeah.
every year there's like nothing that really jumps out at me.
I've missed the last couple because I'd been going to TGS since 2000, and they used to be great, and then suddenly they just hit a wall where there was nothing being shown, and it was just like, you know what, I'm just going to watch this on the internet.
I always enjoy them, though.
I do too. I still enjoy it.
I mean, it's fun to go. There is maybe like only one or two games that I wind up buying after having played them at TGS. So
I mean, if you're a gamer and you like Japanese games, TGS is great because there's a whole bunch of them there. You know, I mean,
yeah,
for the 2 days I was there, I didn't get to play everything I wanted to play.
Mhm.
So,
and that's even with ignoring the Gree booth.
Yeah. Obviously, the only thing I was looking at the Gree booth was the chicks.
Booth babe.
Yeah, but no, at TGS, I mean, as a gamer who likes to play Japanese games, there's too many of them to play, and you never get through them all.
Yeah,
I always have fun there, no matter what.
yeah.
I think I'm just an old man.
Yeah.
Before my time.
You'll have your
Yeah.
elite.
No, I
PC
love
ready in no
meeting
time.
I love meeting the people, and I love the atmosphere, but I don't know what it is about it. I guess maybe spoiled by the earlier ones where there seem to be tons of big announcements, whereas recently it seems to have toned down. It's stuff we
well,
know
you've got
about
new
and we get to
hardware
see
now.
it.
Don't forget though that the last big home hardware was 7 years ago, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so maybe we'll see a bigger show this year.
Maybe
Yeah, this year I'm expecting it to be
It's
better.
gotta be
Hopefully they'll
huge.
turn on the air conditioning this year.
Let's not go too far.
My body is sweaty, right? Hashtag my body is sweaty.
Oh,
Anyways, okie dokie. DC, take the next one.
This is from Billy. Do you think MS is ever going to attempt to court Japan market again? Or they've pretty much shown they've given up?
We've pretty
we've
much gone
answered
over
that.
this.
I think we
We've answered
went through that.
right? We've answered that.
So a massive launch.
Yeah.
Loads of
Oh
titles.
man,
Yeah.
I'm getting on the maglev hype train though, man. I'm gonna pray that the reason they didn't mention Japan with Asia is that they're gonna go with it. I'm just gonna say that officially.
Steers the
I'm gonna
official
dream. I can dream.
Microsoft.
Hey,
It could happen.
could happen.
Okie dokie. Steven.
Okay, Mr. James Hilton.
Yeah, well, you're the Microsoft spokesperson, so you take this one.
Oh no. Why bring the X1 to Japan, not X-Bone?
excellent.
Come on, be
If-
professional. Say what it says.
All right, yes, all right. Why bring the X-Bone to Japan? If they want to throw money wastefully at Japan, why can't they just give it to me?
Me too. I'd like some money. Can you pay for my hospital bills, please?
What do you say? What do you have to say, folks?
I agree. just give the money to James.
Yeah, James needs the money.
I don't know. I need Halo 4. And
We need
5
Halo
and
4
6.
again.
It's Halo 5, sorry. It's getting late. We're past the crazy clock. It's 2, close to 2.
Yeah, I think they would have to pay me to get an Xbox One at this point.
Oh, bull jive.
At the moment, definitely.
Yeah.
Unless someone starts sending me review copies of games I can play without having to buy them.
And then you're just as fake as everyone else.
No. I still have a machine, right? I'll put footage on the internet so people can see it.
See all the games that they're never going to play.
Twitch it all day long.
Twitch it all day long. Yeah, okie dokie. Next question, Cheesy.
Yes, so Batter Alamire, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, asks, how long will Japanese developers continue making current-gen console games before moving on to next-gen only?
Well, there's like 78 million units out there, so they're going to take at least 3 years to get off.
Yeah, for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
We're going to see PS3 games.
You'd be totally stupid just to drop it and then go to two platforms which have no... they don't have
Absolutely.
any... There's nobody who's bought it yet, you know what I mean? It's like, you don't do that. You got to stick with...
Piss poor business.
Yeah, you have to stick with
Closing
the
shop.
current gen until...
Which is why they have they're doing dual releases, I think, which is, I guess it makes sense.
Did you know that there was a PS2 game at E3 this year?
There was? You sure there was a Dreamcast game as well?
FIFA 14, PlayStation 2.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised though. There's like, what, 128 million units out there?
That's heartwarming. I like that.
There's always a long tail.
Some people just cannot afford the next gen or whatever. I mean, when I went to the UK, I saw so many families still buying PlayStation 2 stuff, and that was only last year. I mean, I'm pretty sure DC saw the same thing.
Yeah, I was back earlier this year, and actually, it's starting to disappear. The PS2 stuff is starting to vanish.
But you still see families who, and obviously they're not well off, and their parents are buying their kids games, right?
Yeah, I saw a lot of Wii's moving because they were the bargain sort of machine of choice, and there's still a fairly attractive library out there, and a lot of pretty cheap prices. But then so's the Xbox One, good grief, the X360. There's a lot of bargains out there, so
yeah,
I don't see it going away anytime soon.
Next gen ain't going anywhere for like another 3 years.
Yeah,
at least. So yeah, I mean, Sony they've got quite a juggle on their hand, haven't they? They've got PSP, they've got Vita, they've got PS3, now they've got PS4.
It's one big ecosystem.
Huge. Don't envy them whatsoever. Anyway, next, David Evans. He says, "What do you guys think of Ouya?" Don't know. My wife cancelled mine.
Oh.
Yeah, she saw it on the credit card bill and she said, "What's that?" It was like, yeah.
I haven't really followed the Ouya since the early reports of the early systems having a couple of like input lag issues on. I mean, it was a bit of a confusion whether it was just like across everything or whether it was just with individual software and things like that. I mean, I like the idea, to be honest, not particularly for the support I think it's going to get, but rather just as a very small
media box.
Just a media box stroke emulation, a pocket emulation thing. But then there's other options out there. There's like the Raspberry Pi or those equivalents. So I mean, I already have a Raspberry Pi, so I don't particularly need it.
Pi. How many calories is that?
Oh man, I don't think I don't know if they're shipping to Japan or not, but yeah, they're pretty nifty. But yeah, I like the idea of having a very small all-in-one emulation box, but I can't. Final Fantasy 3. Do I really want that on? No.
Didn't John TV get one?
I don't know if he did. I don't think he did.
I'm pretty sure I saw him on Twitter posting some pictures.
That
he had.
Interesting.
Oh. Myself, I'm less than impressed with the software lineup, likewise. But I do like the idea of a toy that you can tinker with and make your own little games and play them on TV and then sell them to others.
Yeah, well, it's
a neat idea.
It's a first step to game development, right? It's an easy box.
Right. I mean, the only complaints I really have with it is, it is, digital distribution only. So once the system's no longer supported, again, how are you going to acquire games for it? Are you going to have to acquire the games that you don't have by purchasing other used hardware units, or how is that going to work? The future of game preservation is very much an open question right now.
Right.
And that is rather disturbing in that regard. I mean, we've already had several historical examples of this. Like for things like Satellaview on the Super Famicom. You would receive, transmissions via satellite to download games, and they were not available in any other way.
Sorry.
And, there were, flash carts on the Super Famicom that you would, get burned at your retailer. And there were certain games that were only available through that system. And acquiring those games is also difficult. So, yeah, I'm a little wary of all digital distribution.
Right.
So it looks like a fun
we're
toy,
going.
but
Yeah.
I'm a bit afraid of that future.
A stupid question for the Ouya, though. Isn't part of the attraction that there is no DRM and that it's basically, if someone has a digital copy of it, it's there for the taking? Well, there for the taking, that makes me sound like a filthy pirate. But
Hang on. It's all based on Google Play, right? So you need an account to sign in and download stuff like that.
I was under the impression that it was most things were DRM-free, but I guess...
I don't think you're able to just copy games from system to system as much as you like, because you do need to register the game once when you download it, and it's locked to your account. I'm not sure.
Well, I've got an Android phone, and the only way I can move my stuff to another phone was to log in onto another phone with my account, and then I could download it. There's no way that I can just copy it over.
Yeah, I think when they say that the Ouya is an open system, it means that every man can develop and mod the system, like open it up and like tweak the innards. I don't think they're talking about like copying games.
I see.
Did you anyone see the tweet that Shuhei Yoshida just tweeted?
What's that?
Hi, Octodad. You're so cute. Can I deep fry you and eat you with lemon?
Dear.
Okay.
At Octodad the game.
Wow.
It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Maybe he's messed up in the head or jet lag. I don't know.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Iwata's practicing his direct stretches.
His lunges. Lunging.
Last question.
Okie dokie. Who's last one? Is that me?
Do it.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Sam B asks, is supporting Xbox One indirectly supporting DRM?
Oh no, this is too big of a question this
Or
late.
is it not as simple?
Oh, God.
Oh no.
I'll give you a clear answer.
Go on, Cheesy.
Your clear answer, my friend.
Supporting Xbox One is directly supporting
It's a
DRM.
mile away.
And it is that simple.
Oh God.
If
Says
you
the
don't,
guy
I
who
can see
buys
Steve
3DS
Grimson.
games.
yeah,
What if you support X1 and the PS4? Does that hedge out?
no,
It doesn't cancel out.
no. If you don't like DRM and you don't want a part of the future of video games, don't buy an Xbox One. Let it fail in the marketplace as an example to other console manufacturers to avoid always online DRM in the future. So that
The simple world you live in.
when the time comes for digital distribution in the future, it will remain an option.
Okay, so wait just a minute. Speaking of this, apparently, don't buy The Sun. I'm just saying, it's a newspaper from the UK. Don't buy The Sun. I hate it. Don't buy The Sun. But they've just done a poll
Yep.
of the PlayStation and the X1. 79% of gamers will buy a PS4 over the Xbox One.
And it's in the sun, so it's definitely true.
Yeah, it's in the sun.
No, this sounds too close to Red Sun. I don't like this.
The Sun is a yeah.
We have no
Let's be
affiliation with them.
I need to be careful with what I say, but yes.
I hate everything they say, but that's what they said.
Yeah. So 79%. That's kind of telling. I don't know what kind of poll they got though.
I thought England was Xbox country.
It was.
Where they don't have internet? What's going on? Can't they
We're just
tether it?
messing
Can't they tether it to their phone for
No.
authentic?
Listen, Steve. Look, they've got PlayStation 4 in the UK is £349. The Xbox One in the UK is £429. So again, big difference. Launches. Well, they both launches November 21st, which is weird.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
A head-to-head launch would be awesome. It would be so much fun.
It'd be hilarious.
Fighting in the streets.
Oh, yes.
I would be laughing so hard.
The way it should be.
Trade-in at PS4, trade-ins, yes. Xbox One, no. Internet needed, yes. Internet needed, no. So basically 79%. It's pretty telling, but I don't know. That's nuts.
They don't like you. They don't like football. They like a different kind of football.
Yeah, the real one.
They don't like football. We like football.
Oh boy.
Egg ball.
I just like to just let it get them going. There you go.
Going.
Go
Come
for
on,
it, Martin.
No, yeah, just line us up
get it
and
out.
Rev me up.
30 minutes.
There's been a rumored PlayStation 4 release date in the States as December 29th.
Wait, what?
No, that's a placeholder. You're thinking October 29th.
Huh? What did I say?
You said December 29th.
Oh, did I? Sorry. October 29th, beg your pardon. Rumor.
That's just a rumor.
Just a rumor. But it would be great if it was.
Yeah, the NeoGaf thread says, just ordered the PS4, and the manager at Best Buy said that they have an internal mail saying October 29th, 2013 release date subject to change, and to not release that info to the public.
Which has promptly been released to the public.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any credence to this.
Don't believe everything you read on the internet.
Yeah, right now it's time for crazy rumors on the internet, so we're not going to hear anything for a while, I don't think.
Oh, and then someone say, I heard November 18th UK and November 19th US and Canada. Whatever.
Yeah.
So it's just all rumors and speculation. But anyways, I think we have come to an end.
The beginning of an end.
Episode 57.
The end of the Xbox brand.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Cheesy and Steven are going to have a big fight at TGS.
We'll see how well Xbox One is represented at TGS.
Well, did you see Francis breaking his...
I'm going to be there in a Titanfall mech, blasting through your Nintendo area. What does not even there? So that's not even there. So I'm just going to be shooting at Gree.
That's something I can get behind.
Okay, well then there we go. We'll do one of those.
Let's fight against the common enemy.
There we go. Oh, now we're coming together. That's what I like.
Okie dokie.
And then we can Twitch it.
I think we should wrap it up, right?
Yes.
Okie dokie. It is 2 a.m. Well, 2:05 anyway. So thank you for listening to episode 57 of the Red Sun Gamer podcast. If you want to catch us on Twitter, you can catch me at DJ Mizuhara, Steven at...
Steve at _Red Sun Gamer. Red Sun G. Oh, God.
I know we haven't done it for 2 months, but please. Okay, so do you want to try that one again?
Steve _Red Sun G.
Cheesy.
Cheesemeister 3K.
Okie dokie. DC.
D Charlie JP.
There you go. If you want to follow us on Twitter. So thank you for listening, and let's go to some of this.
Let's go to some of this.
Let's go to some